Number 50. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us for day 2 of the Fan Festival 2019 in Tokyo.
Chiba.
Well, say Tokyo, okay?
He said Chiba on
Oh,
stage.
really?
He made a point. Represent Chiba.
Look at the logo. But no, thank you guys for joining us so much. Like Koji said, we're going to be kicking it off with the Letter from the Producer live. About like 9 minutes, I think.
Yep. 9 minutes. They're doing their sound check right now.
It's going to be 90 minutes long, so make sure you guys get some drinks now, get some snacks now. Prepare for that.
90 minutes.
And then right after that, we have about
another like 5-10 minute break.
Yeah,
just skip the ads, Blue.
Run to the bathroom as fast as you can, because we're coming back to the stream with the dev panel.
All right, we got two members from the dev team, background artists today, talking a lot about not only stuff that's in the game now, but stuff that's coming in 5.0. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the areas,
we're gonna dive into a lot of this, guys. So the plan for this is obviously we're gonna react and cover what is happening over here on the screen. They're live streaming on Twitch. I believe the link is in the description below, and it is excellent. So if you don't want to hear my commentary, my reaction, my thoughts on what they are doing, please go just direct to Twitch and watch it and enjoy the stream itself. Like, I want you guys to have the best possible experience with the event, hands down. And so whether that's with Work To Game or whether that is over on Twitch on your own, please just have fun with it. I've got Discord open. We'll see how this goes. If it goes into a lot of announcements and things like that, we might just cut it from there and jump into kind of a call-in session like we did last night. So the command is Discord. I should have just put it in. We will see. Yep, there it goes. You can join in the Discord and jump into the green room, and we will try to get you guys in and having these great conversations around everything with the game. So they're doing their sound check right now. That's what's happening. So I can turn it up if you guys are interested in hearing that level of banter. But I figured what we could always do at this point in time before it kind of kicks off is just if you just respond to some things that at least I've been thinking about today. And Mystic MMOs really puts it wide with Throw Wide the Gates. I am unbelievably excited about where the story is going to go. This is going to be something where I think as a 1.0 player, there's just something that resonates very deep that I'm at least responding to. And so I really am looking forward to seeing where they take the story. What is it going to mean? What does victory look like? Are we actively going to actually achieve balance in the first? And what kind of impact does that have on the source? Or is that, because at some point, like in 2 years and 3 years, like, is that fight still going on? Is it always going to be in a persistent state of about to collapse? Or, I don't know. I'm really interested to see, because they've been toying around with building up the different things, right? The different cities, things get restored, patch over patch over patch. Is the city that we are rebuilding and in fact a shard this time around? We'll have to wait and see. So I'll let I'm looking at like Sean Austin says, I have to watch you so I know when something is important while I'm leveling fishing. Well, thank you, Sean, for leveling fishing. Hopefully you're having fun with it. I enjoy it with like you kick back, you get the hat, you tilt back, and you just kind of you got to play it with. For me, it's pro controller the whole time, like with that rumble. It just makes a lot of sense. Hey, Griddle Girl, how's it going? Lady Wizard says it gets the feeling that similar to the World of Light that they've already said they need to return night to the world. I'm just so fascinated by that. I'm fascinated where the Crystal Tower comes into play. And Stanley Joseph, welcome to the workforce. Thanks for hitting that subscribe button. We do have notifications on because this is typically the stream setup that we use for playing video games. So I've got them going in the background. They're checking their watches. I'm going to bring in some audio from them.
Get ready for the letter live. They're already almost done setting up on stage, it looks like. They just finished the opening ceremony. And they're already coming back out.
What's up, Zion?
I think Yoshida's also on the dev panel after.
Zion Rose.
Yes, he's going to be on stage most of the day.
He's got a packed
and I think he's going to be up there for FRC as well, or at least.
And Shane, mine is subscribe. Welcome to the workforce, Shane.
Welcome to the workforce.
Thanks for being a part of it. This experiment we call Work To Game. Name me the worst zone in the game. Sea of Clouds. I think it's beautiful, Goose. but it's one of the ones that I just like, oh, this is great. And then essentially it became the one that I dread going to the most is the Sea of Clouds. How about you? What's the worst zone in the game, chat?
All right, see you guys in 5 minutes.
See you guys in 5 minutes.
Okay, they're taking a 5-minute break. Taking a 5-minute break.
And they're gonna go to the. Oh no! See, everybody thinks.
And Xeon subscribing to the workforce, joining as a member.
Oh my goodness!
Thank
I can't believe this is happening. Welcome to the workforce. You awesome individual.
Let's go ahead and do this. Let's take a look at that trailer, guys. Let's see here. Add new source. File browse. Yeah. All right. Perfect.
All right.
All right. Cool. We should have some audio. We drop this in the background. I should be able to turn that on and off. Boom. Thank you so much. Should have said the Yotor Jungle from 11. Oh man, Nightmare Jungle. So one of the things that I don't know if you guys have caught on to this. This is not like fact. This is just Brian, fan theory right now. Is that the music? Obviously we've always heard the voice of Heidelin, which is being sung, and in this case they actually have a male voice. At least that's what I'm hearing, and I'm wondering if it's the voice of Zodiark. So if we've got both Heidelin and both Zodiark. Xeon is still. It just keeps popping up. That's just weird.
For the one that stood alone against the storm.
Is it broken? Dark Lantern with the resub over on Twitch. Thank you. Pure Hound. Subscribe. Welcome to the workforce.
Welcome to the workforce.
Sea of Clouds. Suck if you can't fly, but that area outside Ayrshire because no crystal, nothing, and it's big. But at least you can fly. Hey, it's okay. It looks like Pure Hound fixed it for us. So whatever the bug was, thank you, Pure Hound, for helping to save the day there. So so here's obviously where you hear the male voice in the trailer itself, and you kind of just, I'm wondering if we're going to explore this relationship, and when they talk about what has been. We must undo what has been written as what has been, must be undone, things like that. Like, I'm wondering if we're going to end up undoing the Sundering. And if you guys aren't aware, from a story perspective, the Sundering is when Heidelin banished Zodiark basically into the moon, and then essentially split the world into 14 copies of the source, or 13 copies of the source. And Mon, the live letter starts here like in 2 minutes. So we're going to be live reacting to the live letter itself. So, nope, YouTube doesn't like your sub. Frosty, what's going on? It is almost time, absolutely. I don't see it at all. It's not showing up, not even in YouTube or even in the history here. So who's calling who? But yeah, so, oh man, like, so freaking hyped. So I don't know if essentially, like, if you could consider evil, either of them evil or good. It would be really funny and almost ironic if, like, it was just a misunderstanding, right? Like, like, you said you were going to take out the trash. Oh, I heard you say I have a fat ass. Oh, okay, sorry. All is forgiven. It's just like something so like ridiculous and silly, etc. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know why that's being worried about. So, like, if it comes in, it comes in. But thank you for the support as always. Just being here, being a part of this experiment. All opinion is biased has subscribed. Welcome to the workforce. Thank you. All opinion is biased. Yeah, I mean, everybody has that. I guess it doesn't necessarily mean it's sometimes, like, yeah, you recognize it within yourself. Makes good. Brian cursed on stream. I don't think that's a bad word. Like, I could be completely wrong. Maybe I don't know. I've never thought of that as a bad word. So your videos actually made me choose to play music. play this and I'm new and I've only been playing for a week or two, but I nearly finished 2.55. That's amazing. Oh yes, dude, you're in a perfect situation right now, man. I am so happy for you. Thanks. I'm glad we've been able to help you in any way, but I'm so excited for you because Heaven's Word, I think, is so far the best. And they're on, guys, so I'm gonna turn off this video here real quick. And we're gonna turn up this volume so we can actually hear them talk. I'm gonna do my best not to talk over these guys. And
all right, good morning, everyone. We're going to begin the letter from the producer.
Okay, cool.
Live,
and if I need to, I can toss here if they're showing something and I don't want to see my face.
And of course,
Foxconn from the community.
All right. There we go. There we go. Perfect.
More ball.
Well, I mean, I love dragons.
So many names.
Love them. It's weird. I just love dragons.
8 years.
Oh man.
That's a lot of letters.
A lot of letter lives.
Letter lives.
Hype.
I didn't name it, man.
Let's see here. Let me get.
I'll never live it down.
Let me know if that's any better. Lady Wizard. Like, this is as max as it's going over here on Twitch right now. We had this problem last night.
Right, we have a lot of exciting information in this letter from the producer live.
You can say producer letter live. It's fine.
Yeah, I should just say PLLL.
I like
so
to
much
get the
easier,
DX
right?
Racer chairs.
It rolls off the tongue, but it's PLLL.
Oh.
Branded DX Racer chairs. Oh, with the job symbols on the back.
Take that one home. I'd love to use it in the office.
No, they're gonna auction it off because
they're
Yoshida
auctioning?
sat in it, so we can sell for a lot on eBay.
Those are nice.
Thank you guys for the follows over on
Water.
Twitch.
The water. Oh, there we go.
That's cool.
That's cool.
I like that. Oh, and actually the subscriber over here on YouTube. Thank you very much.
I didn't know that. They had those in the back. That's cool.
Hey, Mira.
Okay, so the letter live is split into multiple parts today. So the first part is we're going to talk about patches, patch schedule,
coming schedule.
Then the next part is going to be talking with the main lore creator and scenario writer, Bonri Oda. He's going to be answering questions that they gathered last week
On the forums. Yeah.
He's got a lot.
No pressure, Oda.
All right.
All right.
So boom. First screenshot. We saw this guy in the trailer yesterday.
Looks familiar. Maybe familiar with its work.
So next Tuesday, March 26th,
3 days away.
456 Rocks, a Requiem for Heroes, Part 2.
Tuesday, finally.
So we're going to talk
New
about
main scenario quests.
got some more new main scenario quests.
I don't
It's
know,
going to
Valerie.
end
I
up
don't know
the
why.
4.x series and
Be
lead
like
into
a
5.0.
prologue into Shadowbringers.
Oh, boom. And further Hildebrand Adventures. This is going to wrap up,
Yep.
for now, the Hildebrand Adventures. And then, of course, we have the Beast Tribe quests. All stars coming together.
Ooh, what's gonna happen this time?
I'm a little behind on that. I need to get that done. So I
I
can
think
do
the
the beast
screenshot showed a few of them together on the teaser site.
If they bring in the fight from FanFest as a part of Hildebrand, totally in for it.
Our next
I'll go get it done.
patch.
Our next update.
The next update is on April 2nd, another Tuesday. And this is where we're going to begin the expansion of the European Data Center. Add that new server, the center, light.
April 2nd to April 15th is when you're going to be able to get the
we
free
talked about this
transfers
before.
for that period.
The world regrouping is going to happen at this time. And so for those players that are in Europe using the European data centers, from the 2nd to the 15th, you have 2 weeks to move about, find out which world server you want to call your home world server.
Correct. And it's not just limited to it's like the free world transfers. Or it's not just limited just to the EU data center, so you can actually move off of it.
But if it's for using those servers, right?
Correct.
Theodore, thank you for the follow.
All right, there we go, boom. On April 16th, another update. This is where we'll be releasing the Final Fantasy 15 collaboration, a Nocturne for Heroes. Oh, see what we did there?
For Heroes. Huh. Ray likes Heroes.
I'm really looking forward to this four-person mount. Savage Safe, thank you.
Hairstyle,
YouTube sub,
equipment, and that 4-player mount. A chance to get that 4-player mount.
Yes.
Look at that.
You can ride around the first in style.
My new
complete with phone books for
really
Lalafell to sit on, so they can see
right now.
pedal extensions for them. I'm really curious. I really want to see how they drive.
Yeah.
Yes, from EU from the 2nd to the 15th. For North America, I think it's the 28th to the 2 weeks after, like, in that regards.
You got a screen up there with the Twitch stream on it? Checking out the comments? Nice. So yeah, it's not that difficult to get that stuff. So you just have to clear the quest. So
we do
first
need
off, clear the quest, and then it'll go
I've
from
discovered
there.
a new recipe.
Ooh.
And here's the.
We got the dwarves.
Recognize Noctis' outfit.
I'm gonna start just
Hairstyle.
picking the name what I prefer to call these races now, because it's like, well, obviously I'm referring to the third.
Drive around in style. With one driving glove. It's your driving hands.
All right, April 23rd, another.
Well, the 23rd is the North
Another
American.
Tuesday. We have 4.57.
Oh, and the World Visit.
And here we have
never
our
mind.
World Visit system. It goes live.
I guess this is happening before NA. Wow,
It's already almost April.
that actually is a little bit surprising.
Close.
Yeah, lots of stuff. That's a little bit more than a month.
Yeah.
I believe it's going to be persistent, just like Rathalos. Douglas, they'll clarify if it's not, but it would be weird to have it go away.
So to get the
because it
system
is
ready,
always
it's a
persistent
very
in 15.
complex change to the server source code.
Bubba, welcome to the
It's
workforce.
a system that's going to, allow players to go to a different world server via
Within the
the
data
certain
set, yeah.
Aetherites within the main towns. And so we're releasing it here, so if there are any problems, we can fix them before the release of 5.0.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea not to release them both at the same time.
We don't think that there's going to be any major problems, any major crashes, but like, for example, going to a new dungeon on a different world, you might run into some glitches, and we want players to report this so we can get this fixed and all ironed out before 5.0.
Sure, it's ready for 5.0.
All right, and then on the
Same
23rd,
time, yeah, same day.
Same day.
we have the new data center in North America, Crystal. And this is just the same as the terms with the European one. We're going to do the world regrouping. And from the 23rd to May 6th, so another 2 weeks. If you're currently using those NA or the NA data centers, you can move between worlds for free during this 2-week period. And you can move free as many times as you want during this period, or is there cooling off?
There's cooldown, but it really depends again which kind of world you're going to. Like preferred,
right?
You can't go to congested, of course, things like that. So you just need to make sure you look over the regulations.
Right, and those will be up. Are those already up, or are they going up?
They're
okay,
up.
Great.
So if you guys didn't catch that, there's going to be some restrictions depending on if it's
adding
preferred
new
world or not.
data centers means we're getting more players, and it's our current world servers are pretty packed. So
that's the biggest reason.
4.58. Various
so
adjustments
mid-May,
and updates.
4.58. This is probably going to be the last patch.
This should basically remove a lot of the restrictions
And
on
we have
your
various
weeklies,
adjustments
making it easier to
and
catch up
updates.
and be ready for 5.0.
This is not new content. It's going to be various updates. And you can
Changes.
probably guess.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys are probably.
Yeah,
All right.
3 main
And
cities.
then here we go. This is the last one is like mid-May. Now we have like June 28th.
2 a.m.
2 a.m.
Yes,
Pacific
early access.
Daylight Time. Boom, early access
access.
begins.
Friday.
Shadowbringers.
Hopefully we close on the house on the 25th of April and I can get moved in
I'm
and
ready.
settled and be able to take
Throw
some
wide the
time off for
gates.
this. 'Cause that's my goal.
So you look at this and think, wow, there's actually kind of a lot of time between that last patch and the launch. But even though we won't be releasing new in-game content, we have a lot of information to reveal. We're going to be traveling around the world, media tours, all the regions, to talk about Shadowbringers and all the new stuff that's coming in.
It's going to be a busy time.
So probably job action, in-game footage, lots of stuff.
The 28th of June, Kim.
During that final month.
Friday at 4 in the morning Central Time.
Yeah, so remember 2 years ago, we had those long letter from the producer lives to talk about all the changes for the jobs.
It was in, I think it was Germany? I can't remember. It was in Europe. And the sun set while they were doing the stream because it was like 3 hours and 30 minutes long.
It was a long one.
All right, then we come to July 2nd. And this is when official service begins. So anyone that didn't get into early access.
I know that's none of you guys, so I'm not worried.
So everyone's like asking, like, what's the difference between early access and that official date?
Oh, you're good, Kim. No worries.
I mean, especially if everyone here is at early access. But the only way to get early access
going
is to
live.
pre-order. So if you forget to pre-order, you're going to have to wait. So if you get down to, you know, the early access date and like, oh yeah, I want to play it now. It's like, nope, it's too late. You got to pre-order it.
Oh wow. Before you could always be like, it's the weekend, I think. At least, regardless, I've always pre-ordered. So
they right before early access, he reads the patch notes.
Yeah,
those are long as
well. That's going to be like 4 hours long.
I had a stuffed animal as a kid, and it was called
so let's
Brian
take another
Lion.
look at that.
So I think it's official that Brian Lion is
up until release
coming out. Okay, here's just the schedule.
A lot of stuff here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 kind of main key points in the next 3 months.
We have things. So, for example, in May, it looks like there's a lot of space there, but again, there's a lot of things like a benchmark. That's right. Oh, there's character creation in the benchmark. I wonder what kind of characters you'll be able to create. That's right. Viera and Hrothgar, you will be able to do some character creation before the launch in the benchmark, so that'll be exciting.
I wonder. That's a really good question, Gray Fox. That'll be interesting to see. They might go check it out, and they might return. I checked out the Raw, but then I was like, not for me. That's just insane. Like,
all right,
2 races in one
this
expansion.
is the first half. Wait a minute. It was 12 minutes. I thought we had 90 minutes here. The first half's already finished. So let's move to the next section. So the first half in 12 minutes.
First half. We have to think of better terminology. First portion. First phase. Phase 1.
Phase 1.
You're going to get refunded for your house, by the way, Tomlin.
All right. Next, let's bring out.
And you get like
a world
an
lore
allowance
creator
for the
main scenario writer,
or can't get
Bondi Oda.
They're supposed to be covering a lot of new games.
I think it's the first time we had him on like the official
live letter.
Letter Live.
Just keep
That's
that in
right.
mind.
I think he did
done like
appear on the
14
Korean
hours,
Fan Festival, and he was also on a stream at the 14-hour event a couple years ago. But
DX Race and
here in Tokyo and here on Twitch, this is the first time, yeah.
And here's your DX Racer branded chair, sponsored by DX Racer. I don't know why the joke was up.
So we're going to check see how much water he drinks.
He's representing a Vegas FanFest shirt, too.
That's right. I had to bring that back for him.
Yeah, you guys had like orders from the team back at home.
So yeah,
hey guys,
he's
thank you so much.
A little bit nervous out there by himself, representing the whole team, the whole writing team and the lore team.
It is always lots of people watching real time.
So yeah, we've got a bunch of questions, more than like 100, and we picked out about 50 or 60 of them, and he answered each one of them preliminary. And it's like, oh yeah, I can answer all these. We're usually when we get these, it's like, oh, we
sometime
can't
in
answer
May,
this, this is
Carlson.
or whatever. But he answered all
No
of them.
official date yet.
He's ready to go, and they're just going to go from the top and do as much as he can. And if he starts saying something he's not supposed to, Yoshida will stop him.
I bet the players don't want him to stop him, though.
Sometime in May,
So
lady.
we're going to go right into it. The first question.
Yep.
All right, so the first question is, what is it exactly a main scenario writer world layer creator does?
Interesting they're going with a guess first. I thought they were going to dive into the New Game Plus.
So yeah, he has two jobs. He's both the world lore creator as well as the lead scenario.
Oh, cool.
The lead
Glad
of
I
the
could help in some roundabout way.
So with world lore, I mean, you have to think about you're creating the world. You're creating all the rules about the world. You think them up. You have to create all the documentation. You have to check all of the quests to make sure that they're following the lore. You have to do all that naming, all that flavor text that goes with everything.
PS4 won't go away in 6.0, by the way.
All of those journals, all of that help text.
I do
created by
expect
the lore team.
what happens at 5.0 to have a significant
writer,
impact on 6.
So when you're this made scenario,
6 could be on Stadia.
You think
5
he's
could be
the
on
one
Stadia.
writing all of the text.
not
It's
5.0,
actually
but
not. It's mostly he's the lead of that team.
Yeah.
He comes up with the original ideas, but it's the other writers that
Who actually
write it, and then he checks those things to make sure everything.
Yes, I'm with you
fits
right
all together.
100% Mystic. I think if it comes to Xbox and xCloud comes to Switch, you then essentially have it on your Switch.
Before the patch work begins, Yoshi, P, and the main scenario writers all go on a trip to a hotel and
have to retreat
for like the retreat. They do it for like 2 or 3 days, and they just talk about how they're going to create the story. So he's also there.
Part of that.
Y'all think 16 is going to be announced at E3 this year?
So the second question here is, where does inspiration for the main scenario and the regular stories come from? Oda-san reads a lot of nonfiction and fiction.
Yes, pretty much.
History.
They just did some date
a
stuff.
lot of books and documentaries, National Geographic.
They did some date stuff for it.
Lots of.
You can, if you just scroll back into the early parts of the stream, it's not
So it
super
depends,
significant
though, on
unless
what
you're really
kind of
curious.
stuff
And we'll
he's
try to
writing,
summarize
and he gets
it.
his inspiration from different things.
Different
We know
places.
after this.
So not
And
just
right now they're
focusing
just
on one
doing
genre.
kind of a guest interview, which they usually save for later parts.
But for example,
in live letters,
for
but they're doing it.
Namazu
They're
dailies,
leading it. They haven't
that
really
quest,
given us
He got his inspiration
Shadowbringers
from a
information
book
yet.
called Aho Resha by Hakken Uchida. I haven't heard of it. I had to go on Wikipedia last
You're
night
like,
to
let's
find out about it. But it sounds like a really interesting book.
Yeah, I'm with you, Riku.
I mean, it's from the early. It was like the late 1800s or like early 1900s. I think it's from a long time ago.
They will Frosty, but not anytime soon.
And so it's
they
like,
look at it as it's like base.
oh, how
Like,
do you
80% of
find
people are
those
still
books? I
playing,
mean, this
like,
is some obscure
a
book
huge
from like
amount
100
on that.
years.
But
100 years ago.
6.0 will be on the next gen consoles as well. And then it might not be until 7.0. It just depends on what volume of
we all
people
know
are playing on
loves
new versus
mystery
the old.
Yeah.
And that's
Is there any-
worldwide too. So
What about like Oda-san? What kind of things do you like the best? And he likes fantasy and a
course.
lot of history. All right, so the next question is, what constitutes
preach
a
it,
day in the
LJ,
life?
or RJ, RL. I can't read.
So basically it starts off with, it's just checking your mail. We all do that. And then it's just basically whatever the dev team
Amen,
needs.
RL.
Yeah.
If it's the beginning of that patch schedule, it's about thinking up all the ideas that are going to be the core concepts of the
No,
patch.
he's welcome. I'm
Again,
a Christian.
laying the groundwork for the patch itself.
And then after they start creating stuff, I do checks of those things. And then when we get to the end of that cycle,
If you're going to
then,
promote links,
everything
though,
that is
RL, I'm
finalized,
sorry, that's
then I
not
go
welcome.
do my final checks.
You can come hang
And then
out
in
and you
between
can
there,
talk if
I
you've
just
got some
write a
videos
lot
you want me to
of
check
text.
out.
That's the stuff
Be
that I
sure
want,
to
like
join
the
our
text.
Discord and message me privately. But no, we don't do open promotion.
works a lot closely with Yoshida-san, you know, in tandem with him in these checks. And they have a scenario team meeting every week, and Yoshi P is always at those meetings. But even outside of those meetings, he'll always be doing checks, and he'll be going to Oda-san.
Says Summing 37. I'm probably butchering it.
At these
Welcome to Workforce.
decided times every week. It's just basically when something comes up.
So they're talking about his job.
When we hear the sound, the loud sound of the boots from behind, it's like, oh no, Yoshi's coming this way. He's got something to say.
You can hear it coming down the hall.
Oh, good near reference, the goose.
So there's sometimes that when I don't wear those boots, people don't know when I'm coming.
I can. Crafting, gathering. I think that's
like
no. You need to wear those boots so we know when you're coming.
So we can prepare mentally.
So basically, he has to wear those boots now.
It's too funny.
I love it, Ron.
Ninja Yoshida is the worst.
Funny.
Takes his boots off, you know you're in trouble.
Apparently he left, I guess.
All right,
I wonder if it was a
question.
bot. I don't know.
All right. Are there any books or movies that have inspired you in the past or that you would recommend to the Warriors of Light? There's a lot of things.
That's actually kind of concerning for Endgame Raiders, Tim, if that's how they end up doing it.
First off,
that just means you end up
Thomas
having
Bulfinch's
just 2 tanks.
Legends of Charlemagne. Again, written like the late 1800s, I think.
Jeez. Unless they
It's
fundamentally
basically a story about they took a bunch of myths
everything.
and legends from England and France and kind of like stuck them all together to make one kind of story to talk about Charlemagne. It's not very popular in Japan, especially compared to like the Arthurian legend, but he really likes it.
Yeah.
So, and it gets a lot of good ideas from that.
That's cool. I love how they kind of just pull from so many different world cultures and things like that to kind of form the world.
Oh yeah.
I guess they could. Otherwise, they'll probably keep it at the same
his
power
weapons,
level, and you can just go in and crush it.
The names came from this. He pulls stuff from things like this. Thomas Bulfinch's Legends of Charlemagne.
I can't pronounce your name, but how?
All right, go check it out. Amazon sales are going to skyrocket now because Oda himself.
The family of the Bulfinch family is like, where did all this money come from?
Ooh, that'd be so cool, not
All right, next question. What Final Fantasy XIV character or storyline has left the biggest impression on you? He doesn't want to say because then he'll think that, oh, Oda likes this character, so he's never going to die. Or he doesn't want to show that
Or I'll put
favoritism there.
Target on his back.
Yeah, man, I think if they that would be so cool if this teased kind of a hammer tank for later at some point, or
one
they could do
event
hammer
scene
healer.
that he really
I mean, they
enjoyed
could do anything.
creating and working on was
They
the
won't. That's what I think they showed
4.53,
us.
where you get to actually play as Alfino. Yeah, he really enjoyed creating that and working with the programmers on to figure out, you know, how they were going to actually get that to work. It was something they hadn't done before, and because we were able to do that, you know, up until that point, it was hard to show parts of the story that the Warrior of Light was not involved in.
Yeah.
By adding this type of new system, now we can show parts of the story, even if the Warrior of Light's not going to be there.
Yeah.
So
what's happening elsewhere?
Yeah, I'm just along with the ride. I think a lot of people were hoping for like another job
that was one
introduced
of those things. It
mid-patch.
was something that they really wanted to do, and
They can do whatever the heck
and
they
they had
want.
their
Like,
rules.
That's actually one of the exciting things about what's going on now.
Is it going to be okay to control other characters other than your own character? There wasn't a rule for that, and so we had to go to Yoshiki and get that permission. And so we went to get the permission. It's like, oh yeah, that's fine.
Let's go for it.
Go for it. Go for it if you can do it. So another thing that was had a big impression. It's a little bit spoilers here. But at the end of the Namazu Beast Strike quest, there's a part where the screen kind of splits into 4.
Yeah.
You see 3
Like
Namazu and
panels
your
almost,
panels.
yeah.
And you see
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, House
to
of
create
Danny.
that took a little bit of imagination.
It's going to be a little harder because it's not like this is
Sometimes
the
you see
multiverse
those static pictures.
where there's like an equivalent one-to-one.
during
There
the
could
quests.
be.
Those static pictures
Depends
aren't
on how,
actual
like,
pictures, they're
things
actual
evolve and
effects,
change,
like
what was
the
similar,
sparkles
what was
and stuff.
different,
It
but
falls under the same category as that.
Have to wait and
You
see.
create that effect that's
As
just
an effect.
as a static picture.
Huh. Interesting.
But during that, you have the players there as well. So you have it's supposed to be static, but then you also have that movement there. So how did they create that? If you don't have a system that allows for 4 different screens, you only have 1 screen.
Yeah.
So what we did was
the first, the second, third,
had a
fourth,
black,
all that.
just an environment with nothing in it, just a black background, and you had the
background.
player in there. And then on top of that, you put effects of 3 different Namazu pictures, and those are effects. And so it looks like you have 4 screens, but it's actually just 1 screen with this effect on there.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, you just put in this giant black orb. The player is just kind of standing there.
Standing there by themselves.
Effects are, like, popping over.
That's interesting, because you look at that and you think, oh, it must have been, you know, they throw some screenshots in there or something.
Yeah,
but
it's like,
wow.
when they get to the announcement sometimes, like at the end of these things, it's like, okay.
So talking a little bit about creating the stories that
there is a little
the
bit
main
of
scenario, it's hard to do new things because the main scenario is supposed to be that main plot that you're supposed to talk about the important things about the story. And so you won't see a lot of I don't know, stuff that you haven't seen, like things that we haven't tried before. You won't see those in the main scenario a lot just because we want to be serious.
There is a theory in which that, like,
when it comes to those side quests, we can try out a lot of new things. So if like the dev team have ideas, they can use those. We can test those out in
there's a fan
side
theory,
quests
and Gilgamesh
and see if they're working on it, and then adapt
all of
those.
those. But we'll have to wait and see what happens and how that plays out.
Yeah, I think you see that a lot in like the Hildebrand series, where the team just goes.
I mean, you look at that.
And
Like,
really
you couldn't do that in the main scenario because then you'd have people who would love it, but other people would be like, this doesn't belong.
Yeah, this doesn't fit.
Interesting.
I skip all the cutscenes that aren't voiced over. It's always weird how some of the cutscenes are like.
So now they're talking about like
dramatic, and then
because they did that
no voice.
that effect we're talking about with the Namazu voice. Maybe now do something like that during the mahjong playing, where you can have like the 4 faces appear.
Like a face-off.
Yeah. Okay, next question is, I heard that you have
Tim,
these
I
weekend
did
retreats
post
where you
about
go
it.
to some faraway location.
I didn't actually see the
and
interview.
other writers
So I
to
need
work
to go
on the
check
main scenario.
the interview
What kind of
itself,
things
but
do you
there
talk
was
about?
a-
What do you eat? Is it the hotel? Nice, at least.
The skill update's going to be in
And
May.
yes, it's a
DJ,
very
like the deep dive into that, and it's going to
nice
be 3.5
hotel.
hours focused just on that.
No.
And
It's
but yeah, like I'm
just
excited.
a building
like,
with a window and a whiteboard.
by that update. Check out the video, Tim, and let me know what you think on it, because I'd like to.
And then
I'd like to
because
hear your
the
thoughts.
light, there was no light in the room from the outside. Maybe that was the inspiration
See, what
for
you're
this
talking about
world
is what I
of
want. or I
never-ending
want
light.
an HD
The light bulb is
remaster,
burnt out, and
something
that's all you need.
It's
That's-
dark.
I
We
think
need a
it's
world
not
with
gonna be what I
no
want,
dark.
and
It's
I'm
all
gonna be
dark
mad.
here.
I'm a Sargatanas.
But yeah, we talk about what kind of new characters are we going to add, what type of new enemies are we going to add, what type of stories is going to
Reading is good for you. I'm just hanging out with chat right now
So
for
do you go
anybody
in
who's
and
coming in and
decide
joining
about
on.
not
'cause
only the
there
the
is
4.0,
not
but like
any
the
really
X,
good
the
juicy
4.X
information
stuff as
yet.
well.
So in the summary, it's going to be, and he asked
for
him
that
questions.
4.0 retreat we did up
Click
until
this
about
link to listen to
4.2,
it.
I think is when we and decided, okay, we're going to have one at 4.2, we're going to have one ending, and then so yeah, they do go beyond just the expanse of that 4.0,
But maybe not necessarily the whole.
all the way to the
Tomlin,
end.
that's
Yeah.
that actually be a price that I wouldn't
So,
mind
what are you
paying.
eating? They went to like
I mean, I don't
ramen
like it
place.
at all. I'm just
And,
saying
when
that
they're
for
eating
$40
ramen,
if all my cutscenes were voiced.
somebody caught him, like there was a Warrior of Light at that ramen place, and they're like, "Oh my God, look, got a
Yeah,
picture of
Frosty's with me.
Yoshi P eating ramen. He's eating ramen." And it's like Yoshi P's like, "I eat ramen. I like ramen."
Yeah, I'm with you, Kim. It's not my
It'd be
eyesight.
nice
I'm
if they could go to
dyslexic.
some
I like
resort
hearing
town,
how things are
you know,
pronounced,
nice
and I've been
onsen.
mispronouncing things in
Recharge.
Fantasy Universe for years.
But the
so
problem is that there's,
it helps me to try to break the habit of,
the main
saying it
scenario
wrong.
team. There's both
I know that some
males
people
and
definitely get
females on
annoyed
the
by how I
team. So
say
you go to
things.
one of these places, these romantic, onsen locations.
They're doing the interview first, Mike. I am just
It used to
waiting
be
for actual information.
a long time ago in Japan. It's like everyone would just go and you wouldn't think about it. But now you gotta kind of be careful.
Right. Yep, they are literally talking about Yoshi eating ramen.
But these retreats, even though they're in these small rooms in Tokyo somewhere, they're a lot of fun because you can.
I've kind of slouched a bit.
Yeah, and if you guys saw I think it was PAX East last year. Ishikawa-san showed some pictures from there.
Some shout-outs. Thanks for the 65 thumbs up,
so
guys. You guys are epic and amazing. Sorry for the 4 people
I understand that if the Asians
don't like live streams
Zodiac,
and
things will be
click
bad
on
for
live
Highland.
streams, or they just don't like gingers.
How bad?
It's cool. I love you guys. New trial, ramen confirmed.
Of course, Oda-san's not going to say exactly how bad, but his one hint is
Melvin, welcome to
the
the workforce.
definition of bad depends on from whose perspective you're looking at it. So, but
bad.
when you think about it, the world's already been split into 14. That's pretty bad if you think about it.
Yeah, that's already not a
If
great
that's
thing.
considered bad, then the ultimate good would actually be about bringing the rejoining
so it's
or undoing the
unstable.
sundering.
Bought the wrath of the gods already. Of course, yeah. In this unstable situation here, you have, some people are going to be like, this sucks. What are they going to do? Other people are going to be like, no, this is a great situation for us. So 5.0 though will answer a lot of these questions. So
okay, that's good information.
I'm not going to talk about it a lot here.
I mean, he's right.
I mean, we have 14 is it's a good game in that we keep things gray. If this is like, okay, this is right and this is just for one party, it might not be right for the other party.
Right.
But then if you look at it from, like, for example, the Garleans are doing things that they think is the right
are the right things to do,
and
right?
for them, they're in the right. From the Eorzen side, or maybe the Doman side, they're like, no, this is the wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Makes the best
depends.
villain.
And like having it, it's the perspectives there, not just saying this is
There's
evil,
no
this is
black
bad.
and white.
The best villain is the
showing that,
villain
yeah,
who's
it's gonna be
trying to
different for
actually
different people.
achieve
Right.
what everybody wants, but he's going about it in a way that's deplorable because that's all he gets tunnel vision, and that's the only way he can see of achieving.
So yeah,
his
there'll be a
goal.
lot of
It's
characters in
narcissistic.
5.0. A lot of that you'll be able to relate with, but maybe even more that that maybe you won't be able to relate with. It's just it depends on
all
you, depends on
perspective.
the
Right.
character. Right. I mean, every now and then you look on the forums and people are like, oh, I really agree with what the Garlean Empire is doing.
I want to join the Garlean Empire.
I want to join the Garlean Empire. When can we join the Garlean Empire? I mean, it's all about perspective. All right, next question. So after the battle at Cartano Flats, Louis Swa transports the Warrior of Light 5 years into the future. So why 5 years? And do the Warriors of Light themselves remember it like it was yesterday or like it was 5 years ago?
This is an interesting question right here. Nart, welcome to the workforce.
So when Louis Swa, sends them 5 years into the future, he's not using a spell that sends you exactly 5 years into the future. He understands that the destruction that has already been, wrought is going to be bad, and so he's thinking, I need to send the Warrior of Light to a place that is where he or she will be safe, and that 5 years was a result of that.
Right.
The spell, I guess, decided, okay, 5 years is going to be enough to...
Interesting.
Okay.
So whether the player feels like it's
Thinking
yesterday
it as a
or
safe
5
spot.
years ago, that's up to the player.
Welcome, Apocalyptic Gamer.
All your
and
own
Nart.
headcanon.
Welcome to the workforce.
All right, next question.
That would be so awesome, the goose.
So the truth about Eureka was pretty surprising. Did you guys have this planned out a long time ago?
So spoiler warning, if you or haven't finished Eureka, just FYI.
So introducing the Isle of Val back a long time ago, I think it was in Heavensward, that was planned. But what we were going to do with it, that was all ad lib. We just made that up when we decided that Eureka was going to be.
And the Isle of
Eureka, a lot of those ideas came from Yoshi's It's like, why don't we do this with the island? We have this island.
Yeah, we
I
have
don't think
this
they're saying that.
mysterious
Let's
island.
do this.
Join the
So-
Empire. We might have to wait another expansion to go to Garlemald. Or they might just blow up the whole world.
Okay, so when deciding on the 5.0 story and what was going to happen with the Crystal Tower and stuff, we had all ideas were being used there, but we had these two things left over. We had the Isle of Val, and then we had Eureka. And it's like, where are we going to use this? And then Yoshipi's like, okay, if we can't use this here in 5.0, let's put it in this content and use it here and explain both of them with in this content.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny house.
So when you're looking back at Final Fantasy XIV has a long history back through 1.0, and there were a lot of storylines that pretty much were supposed to continue but ended, and there's still a lot of them that haven't been tied up, and so we want to try to tie up as many of those as possible. We understand that there's a lot of players out there, legacy players that have been playing since 1.0, and they want to see the ends of these stories, even if if they're from a long time ago. And so it's my job to try to find all of these loose ends and tie them up.
No, this is the live letter.
All right, the next question is, we're really looking forward to the Shadowbringers story. How far along is it? Can you tell us anything that won't you get killed by Yoshipi? Yeah, I can't give any more hints. This guy next to me,
he looks, he's listening intently.
Yeah, no leaks, please.
That's
no
for
leaks.
how much we have written right now.
Me too. Oh, I'm not alpha,
About
beta.
80–90% of the stories are complete. But there's still a lot of smaller sub-quests, side quests. Also, those unlock quests.
Kingdom Hearts.
Unlock content. That's what we call them, unlock quests. We have a lot of those as well. And it's about checking those. The teams are working on those, and me checking those, and then making sure that they fit. As for like the voice scenes, the voice is pretty much all taken, and so all the voiced scenes are done, and all of the scenes that connect those main scenario scenes were at pretty much the last part.
Yeah.
And we're of the main quest, we're pretty much up to at least the last chapter of 5.0. And then also in the background, we have a lot of people working on a lot of side quests. Like I said, about 90% of them are in the game in some
form.
And then at the end of this month, I got to start checking my instant dungeons. And then next month, I go into my scenario quest checks and sub-quest checks.
So hopefully it's 100% by that time.
Hopefully, at least for us in Loc 2.
I'm sure that it's going to work very similar to what we expect Elysium. They could always switch it up, but I think just from a quality of life perspective, they're
in Heaven's Word, the main scenario, Estinian talks about how his blood is more than half dragon blood. Is it really? And is that why he was able to destroy the cannons at Castrum, Albania, all by himself? This is more just an illusion. His blood is not actually
Didn't have a
dragon blood. I mean, he's already drawn so much ether
from
Nidhogg's eye that he's starting to feel the effects of it in his body. So it feels like he's got the blood of a dragon, but it's not actual, like transfusion.
He didn't get. Go find a corpse.
But it is true
that
the power
so cool, John.
that he wielded at the Castrum Albania was.
I'd like that. I'd like that they tie that together.
Ether origin was Nidhogg. So yeah. All right. Next question: are the NPCs' birthdays decided? If they are, I want to know them so I can celebrate them. And if they're not, I want you to decide them so I can celebrate them.
Right now.
Depends on the writer. Some writers will write in detail the backgrounds of a lot of their characters. Some don't. For me, I don't really. I mean, we always have the age. The age is important. But when it comes to birthday, is this important? Do people really want to know the birthday? Yoshi thinks that yes.
I'm
people
sure.
Are clapping. People want to know the birthday.
I'm sure people do want to know exactly.
Valmung wants to know who's legal and who's not, is what House of Gaming just said.
But once you just start deciding on birthdays, then people are like, oh, then what is the date in World? What year is it in World? And then it starts getting a little bit, we have our...
Dude,
our
Mike.
we talked about the Simpsons bubble.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to drink after Easter,
time flows.
Like this would be a perfect thing to be like,
in a way.
yeah, here's a little like whiskey, enjoy. Because otherwise it's like...
So next question is, when Final Fantasy XIV characters are used in other games and collaborations, do you check their lines and actions? Yes, as world lore creator, that is one of my jobs, is to check these things.
Interesting.
But what's really good for me is that the creators that are working on those in other games, a lot of them are Warriors of Light themselves, and they often know a lot more about the lore than me. So yeah, at the Dissidia opera.
That doesn't surprise me, Norris. It's a lot of like
when I checked the scenario for like probably, but like you could tell
to
that,
say
okay,
what they
this
want to
person
say.
has played 14 a lot.
That's fair, and they should communicate that. But I don't think that you want to put a lot of energy into it just yet. I think when they say lore,
so,
I could see them doing it if they decide to.
14 is an MMO. The story
is
changing with every patch.
Yeah.
But the person that was playing Dissidia, like they knew how the character had changed over all of this. So it wasn't just like, oh, I just did a quick check. This person has obviously been playing 14 for a long time.
And Mike, we had like 1,300 watching last night. It was nuts, dude. We had over 500 likes. It was just epic. It was insane. It was a lot of fun.
So yeah, he's just commenting on about how, again, we have a lot of these collaborations recently, and we find that like when other companies or other development teams come to us with like they have these ideas that they want to use Final Fantasy XIV characters, they always come prepared. And even if they want to do something a little bit different than what's in the game, they always ask like, okay, I know that in the game, this character uses this weapon, but it would be cool if we could use it. Is that going to be okay? And it's like,
the problem isn't that they're not introducing a new healer. It's the problem is that there's no reason to get XP once you hit level cap.
And I've always wondered what a young Rogadin looks like. Please tell me their characteristics. So actually, I also play a Rogadin myself, and I've also been wondering the same thing.
Stedman, welcome to the workforce.
I've wanted for a long time to create the model of a Rogadin child, but we always talk about development cost.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, sorry, we don't have the resources, we can't do it.
Get some rest,
and then when it comes out, it's always like, oh well, we'd like to make it, but let's make a Mikote for a child, Mikote first. And then the next time it's like, okay, now we have the child. It's our turn. Oh no, we want an Aura child next. And so they've always taken precedence, and I won't give up though, and I really want one. And so
he's like eyeing Yoshida.
I didn't even do them. I was like, I'm done. I moved on. Yeah, we'll do. This is just a Q&A. They haven't even really announced anything outside of the schedule for the next like 3 months.
And so like when you hear that like, oh, we always get pushed back by the Mikote and Aura, I don't think that's fair either. So. So yeah, yesterday we announced the Sin Eaters, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Sin Eaters. This is a 5.0.
And so like people saw that and like, wait a minute, in the first are Rugadin's Sin Eaters because they're all pasty white and large and muscular. It's like no. All right, next question. So before, Yoshi P said that the Aura rub their horns together as a sign of affection. Now, I realized that Yoshi P probably made this up, but I think it'd be pretty cool if it was real. Can we make it official here?
Oh God! I hope not hands in the fire.
This is not something I can decide.
horrible.
So I think that Yoshida can decide this. Sure. Is it okay? I just made that up at on the spot there. Is it really okay? Oh yeah. Someone asked me. It's like, don't those horns get in the way? And I'm like, no. It's probably they rub them together, and that's an expression of love. And I was like, if Oda-san's cool with that, then it's like, okay, then it's done. It's official. Official.
That's how FF14 works.
As of right now, rubbing horns together, that's how the Aura show their affection.
See? That's lore.
Really?
Done.
Really?
Lord. You just got Lord.
But, I mean, this is how, we create some of the lore. We just have these conversations, go back and forth. All right, next.
Nice.
Horn rubs.
All right, so there is some strange lettering on some of the monk and scholar gear obtainable in the Omega raids.
Like, what
is this
the
language
heck
used
did I
on
walk
Omega's home planet?
into?
What does it say? So I don't want to give a definitive answer here. I kind of want to just leave it open. It could be. I mean, it could be maybe some language that Omega learned on one of his trips.
ERP
it could be
warriors.
some language used by one of the bosses that he recreated in his interdimensional rift. I like to leave it open, especially because Omega's that type of character.
Yeah.
A lot of mystery there.
There's a lot of history, too.
Being able to do a lot of different things, like, oh, it could be this, and it kind of expands.
Yeah, I find that players often want definitive answers for some things, but sometimes the writers are just like, we want you to.
Yeah.
Very true, Mike.
Okay, there we go. The next question. So, how do you lore-splain the Duty Finder? So yeah, you go to a dungeon the second time. Hey, the boss is back. How is that possible?
It's a video game.
So, how do you lore-splain it? You don't. It's just part of the system. It's maybe like you're just experiencing it again in your mind.
Reliving memories.
I wondered that, Goose. We'll have to play. We'll have to see.
Again, this is part of the game system, like a quality of life thing. So, I mean, I don't worry too much about trying to force some kind of backstory into things like this because it just feels
really
unnatural.
specific. Yeah, this is very much a game thing.
Yeah. Okay, this is kind of related. So I've always wondered where my companion Chocobo is coming from when I call her and where she goes when I dismiss her. And this is the same thing. You shouldn't think too hard
about these
on this one. I mean, once you start asking this question, you start thinking, oh, how do all those weapons and gear fit in my little bag?
Male dancers are going to kind of play out how that's going to look.
Like you have, almost tons of mounts.
Yeah.
So are they all just following you,
just a long line.
In the shadows? I need this one.
They're hiding
behind
trees, waiting.
Nothing, Dino. I
so
mean,
this is more just
there's they've got dates so far,
to assist with your lore play. I mean, yes, you have your companion Chocobo, and
we'll summarize that
always
tomorrow.
with me. Maybe you can make
later
it
tonight.
hiding behind a tree somewhere.
The call-in show goes. But yeah, this is just
they're teleporting. Yoshi P says they're teleporting.
Just a Q&A with the developer.
Yeah, that carpet teleports. The cloud. All right,
I wish I was hungry now because I'm bored. It's like, come on. Like the juicy questions, I'm like, we've gotten, I think, 2.
Okay, so next question. I always thought that the New World was someplace almost impossible to get to, but in the Blue Mage Quest, we learned that people come back and forth from there all the time. So why can't the Warrior of Light get to the New World easily?
We haven't designed the maps yet.
So it's not really easy to get there, but it's not completely inaccessible. I mean, you look at the Far East.
Right.
It was always there.
Yeah.
It's just that it wasn't easily accessible. It's the same thing. Lore-wise, it is accessible. It's just hard to get there currently. But maybe once an easy way to get there opens up and is discovered, then boom, we'll maybe someday be able to go to the New World as well.
Not surprising. Thanks, Dark.
I mean,
I'm hungry now.
As a creator, I do want, now that we've talked about it so much in game, I want the players to be able to someday go there. So, all right. So next, the might of the Imperial Army was on display in the Gimlet Dark against a foe so powerful. Why didn't the Orzians get their collective asses handed to them? Why haven't the Garleans been able to take over Eorzea?
Yeah,
so yeah,
as soon as like he does off, that's when he'd be like, oh, by the way,
might of the Garleans.
Oh, yeah.
But then you also think about the other trailers we've had. Like, look at the Orzians. I mean, there are dragoons who can jump hundreds of yalms high. You've got black mages that are casting these apocalyptic spells. So yeah, you know, usually humans can't, you know, jump that high. I mean, the Eorzeans are powerful in their own way. I mean, the Garleans have their Magitech, but as we know in the lore, Garleans, at least the pure-blooded Garleans, can't use magic.
Not yet.
Whereas in Eorzea, Eorzeans have this realm that is flush with ether, and so you get powerful. So it's magic versus technology is kind of a look at it.
Shiro, welcome to the workforce.
Welcome to the workforce.
And then you also have, you know, the Garleans are overwhelmed with numbers as well, but
Garleans and magic are like,
go! Go! Oh, yeah, the Eorzeans have their magic, so that's what makes them powerful.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's
John,
all the time we got through. That's 20 questions.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Welcome to the workforce.
20 questions. That felt like 50.
There he goes.
I haven't slept a long time.
Mr. Lord,
like uninterrupted sleep. I don't know what that is like. Well, we'll see. Roll away that officially branded sponsored chip. Ryan, welcome to the workforce.
Yeah, I mean, when we do these lore panels, it doesn't matter where we are in the world. I mean, everyone just kind of, you know, they sit and they listen.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants to know more about the world. I mean, you have a world this big, there's so much information, so it's a lot of fun.
Build two books already.
We're going to continue on into the important information announcements here. So we're going to start off with pre-orders.
If you did not know, this is a really good deal. If you do not have a level 70, or you have anything that is below level 70, non-crafters,
and the Aether earring immediately to use right now, as well as that early access that gets you in to Shadowbringers a week early.
It looks a lot better in game, but it's still, I think it's hideous.
Yeah, we saw in the trailer yesterday that Gremlin kind of shirking back, all scared. Hopefully, Gremlin's popularity has risen. All right, next we have a new album called Journeys, an arrangement album.
Yeah, I was hoping for I was hoping for healer, but range DPS makes sense.
I hear like it's Soken Ye.
It was they're the most underrepresented of the roles.
So we have both band and piano arrangements in here. The primals, yes, a lot of new, never before heard primals arrangements, as well as piano arrangements with Keiko and Susan Calloway.
Oh, nice.
This is released June 19th. Is this worldwide?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, nice.
I forget Gina. I haven't looked into it.
I mean, it should be around the same timing, yeah.
Okay.
We could still get a healer classes. I mean, this is
well.
Yes,
I believe
it up on site
at some point later.
Pre-orders kick off like
they've done it
today.
Oh, and then the price up there
they always
also.
do it a healer.
$39.99 in the US, $29.99 euros.
Pounds?
Is that what that says? Or pounds, and then $34.99 euros. Okay. Oh, I should be looking at the screen in front of me. That's like literally a foot away, rather than the one that's 500 feet away.
Okay.
That's right.
I like the cover art too. That's so cool.
All right. Is that it for the announcements? We have one more.
One more
Things
next.
to talk about. So this is our, again, 50th letter from the producer live, and we have a very important, very important announcement. So we're gonna, before that announcement begins, let's roll this trailer.
All right. Okay, trailer, guys.
俺の心を躍らせてくれ。存外飽きぬ狩りだったぞ。俺は超越者として神をも従えてみせる。
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I've never gotten into that. I've tried.
So, Dissidia Final Fantasy, the newest character to be released, Xenos Galvis.
For people who are excited about that, I'm happy for you. It's just like...
Yeah, one of the cool parts about Dissidia is that you don't always get the protagonists, but you get antagonists as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we get
Xenos.
So the arcade version, I think Wednesday next week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
and then the PlayStation 4 version, Steam version, April 11th,
Nice.
I think is what he mentioned. And this is for people here, actually, in the Messe. In about 5 minutes, they are now going to add Xenos to. They have a bunch of arcade machines here for players to play. So yesterday,
I see some people heading over there now. Actually.
you couldn't play it yesterday. Today, you're able to play Xenos.
That's really cool.
You get a prize if you play them as well.
Yeah, they have like I think a clear file of Xenos. I really want that Ishtolo one.
It's probably going to be crowded, but those lucky.
Probably a bit.
Yeah, there's only 15,000 people here.
He does have no big shoulders, John.
Oh, and so we have in one of the Naoki's rooms, we have Hazama-san, the director of Dissidia, will be there, and I was going to talk a little bit about how they brought that character to Dissidia, what types of things they focused on during that development. Cool. So that should be pretty cool. If you're interested, they're probably going to have one of be able to play up on stage as well, so you get to see the director. Maybe even Hazama-san and Yoshida-san will battle on stage. All right, so that sounds like everything that we have. It's only been 56 minutes.
Not bad. That's kind of fast.
He's checking to see if everything is... Wait, so is that it? It can't be it. Okay, they're coming.
There's something behind his shirt? Or his scarf?
He's taking off his... Oh, he's getting serious. What's going on here? He's putting on a suit jacket? What's going to happen?
I hope something fun happens here.
Something strange is going to happen. They're going to get ready. What are they going to do? They're calling in staff members. What's going on? He's asking everybody to wait a little minute while they prepare. Do you know what's going on here, Matt?
I don't know. I'm not... Looks important.
Is he announcing that?
They're going to announce something.
Quickly breaking
Very
down
big.
the
Yes. Yoshi-P is leaving the project. No.
That's a soundbite. Thanks, Koji.
That's what he said, man. He's got an iPad. This is
he's ready.
Is that an iPad? It's some kind of tablet.
He's got his glasses on.
He's got his glasses on. This is serious. What's going on?
Yeah.
There's tons of cameras in front of the stage right now.
On as director or
They're showing that? Look at all those cameras. We've got, so maybe that's like because it's producer, it's the PLL, it's the 50th, that like all of the media, national media's here for number 50. Oh, they have like, okay, they're checking the white levels.
Oh.
What is this, man? This is a PLL.
That's number 50, you know.
Letter from the producer live. When have we ever done this?
Hey,
Like, the crowd here is like silent. Everyone, nobody knows what's going on right now.
What's happening?
They're almost ready.
Must be big to follow Oda, you know.
All right, looks like they've got that white balance. Now they're going to do a sound check. Sound check with Yoshi P.
Disney takeover.
All right,
Yoshi
that's
does
one.
mic check. The number one.
Number one, okay.
This is
We don't know yet, Nico.
This is different from the hoverboard Yoshi P that we saw yesterday when he came out on his hoverboard and waved to the crowd.
Hey, good morning from Texas.
MC Mike, huh?
Hey, Haas.
Foxconn.
I don't know.
MC?
I'm dragging this out. I'm nervous and excited. And
Wow, everybody in all the lines around us are now like they're all turned to the stage. They've gotten everybody's attention.
Okay.
Staff members are looking at the stage. No one's working.
Is he getting a
Fried chicken
award?
is burning in the fryers.
It's pouring rain outside right now.
Oh wow, they are preventing pictures and video capture from now until the end of the letter of the producer live.
Okay.
Everybody turn off their cameras, their phones.
What's happening?
They don't mind, I guess, tweeting, but no videos.
I see.
But they actually, yeah, they want people on Twitter saying like, "What's going on? What's going on?"
Something's happening.
They want this to trend. Number one trending. Final Fantasy XIV. What is it?
Oh my gosh. Oh. Holy crap.
So, lots of media here. There's cameras down in front.
I might lose my mind, guys.
All right, I think we're ready.
Like in a good way.
They got the ghost
What I
on.
want it to be.
All right, so we want everybody to watch the screen.
All right.
First, let's check out this video.
Holy crap. What's happening?
いつからだろう
This
父
is
との
another
間に
Netflix thing.
会話がなくなったのしかしファイナルファンタジー14このオンラインの世界に父を誘い正体を隠し共に旅をするこれは父を知るための秘密の計画劇場版光のお父さん
Okay, never mind.
吉田さん、
はい。
なんかどえらい映
So we just saw the trailer and the poster for
Season 2?
Dad of Light.
Yeah.
Movie. The movie.
Oh, the movie? Okay, Father of Light 2?
So if you know, this is a true story.
Yeah.
Taken from a player blog.
Yeah.
It was made into a TV drama.
series,
a
yep.
TV series. And this year, it will be remade again into a movie. Dad of Light, the movie. Or Daddy of Light, the movie.
Dad of
prefer.
Light, officially.
So, what they're going to do, this is the world premiere announcement of this So the reason we're able to create this is because of everyone here support.
Here, yeah.
Final Fantasy XIV and its fans. So there's probably a lot we want to know.
That's pretty cool. Like people
asking
were
Yoshida, how do you feel? It's like, of course Yoshida's excited. I mean, this is all started with a single player, a player who loved Final Fantasy XIV and was just writing this blog, and this blog that everyone started reading and started loving themselves. It's a miracle that something like this could start off as a simple blog to become a TV series, and now it's gone its own movie. So,
yeah, that's
really
pretty amazing. And we want, by making it a movie, make it more accessible to even more fans and more people that maybe weren't able to see the movie or maybe don't know anything about Final Fantasy XIV. Introduce them to the game, the story. So we're talking a little bit about the staff, the creators. So all of the creators of the series are actually going to be the creators, including the director, Noguchi-san, are going to be working on the movie.
That's true. Very true, House of Gaming.
So before the series in Japan, it was a late night show. You couldn't watch it until I think it was like 12:30, like after midnight. It started at 12:30 every week in the nights. And it was a full series. Now it's going to be a 2-hour movie. They took the whole script and they rewrote it, but it's the same writers. And they're currently filming actually right now. So you saw on the poster two of the actors, Kotaro Sakaguchi and Kotaro Yoshida, two very famous actors in Japan, are going to be the son and the father. But because this is Japan, we're going to show one of those little relationship maps that we love over here to show who is who, the relationships. And so all the cast, so this is one thing that's changed from the series. The actors are different. So we have a new script and new actors, and we chose actors that would fit that script. And unlike the series where you had many different hours, you have
I actually don't watch
only 2 hours to tell this story and tell about this relationship, and so they changed up things a little bit.
Right now, like I've been doing Exodus 90, which
should be really exciting.
Kind of a Catholic Men's Challenge program.
That's really cool.
It means that if there's any TV that I watch, it's usually at the discretion of what my wife picks. So we'll see what I can do after Easter.
The two actors that they got to play the main roles are pretty famous.
Yeah.
And even you see them on TV and movies all the time. So.
Yeah, this is there's no subtitles. It's Koji's translating.
We have a message from the actual writer of the blog. He's just so happy, all the support. Got a lot of feedback after the series came out. A lot of people were talking about how it was really inspirational for them, it really moved them. And so
she gets the choice of what we watch. Right now,
I was really behind this idea of making it a movie to get it out to even more people.
Yeah. I can't go off and watch a show.
Please,
a lot of people resonated with it.
Yeah.
Because it's essentially I've given up media and all these things beyond what is required of me for Work To Game for 90 days that ends on Easter.
I mean, he's the writer of the original blog, and he's actually one of the creators that's working on the script as well. So he has he participates.
That's really cool.
Just from a blog. It's really
Daddy of
yeah,
Light is the name of it, Trev.
That's just a regular player.
Yeah.
Maybe the next one could be you. Get out there and write that
well,
blog.
not me. But
Oh, no. You.
You.
So you're wondering probably why we have all these cameras here, not just for us too. We actually
the models and everything they have for the era and the dancer.
Two special
they're
guests, both actors in
that would be great. That's what I want to see.
The Dad of Light. Kotaro Sakaguchi and Kotaro Yoshida are both here taking a break from filming to come to the stage.
Social media is also showing to be, can cause anxiety and things like that. So, like, I've deleted all the apps off my phone. I don't even know where my phone is anymore. Like, I use it for phone calls and text messages, and that's it.
All right, so this is Kotaro Sakaguchi. He plays Akio in the movie.
Hands in fire.
Ah, he's an actual player of Final Fantasy XIV. Whoa.
Everyone's really excited.
So yeah, he's going to use that experience to, show that relationship of gamer son and gamer father. Okay.
They're supposed to go over New Game Plus.
The father, Akira Iwamoto, played by Kotaro Yoshida. And so, actually, he was a good friend of the father, the actor that played the father on the series, Ren Osugi. And Ren Osugi passed away recently, and so that was a shock to him. But he's very honored to be able to fill in that place and follow in his footsteps for this role as the father in the movie.
I'm glad for them. I'm not going to knock
we have
this.
a message from the director, Noguchi-san, because he wasn't, they're filming today.
会場にお越しの皆様こんにちは。ドラマ版に引き続き、劇場版ファイナルファンタジー14光のお父さんの監督を務めます、野口と申します。今日本来であればそちらに伺って皆様にきちんとご挨拶をしたかったんですけれども、実はまだ、撮影中でございましてどうしてもそちらに足を運ぶことができません。申し訳ございません。したがって坂口さん、吉田さん、今日もこれから撮影がございますので1秒でも早くお戻りいただけますようお願いいたします。坂口さん、吉田さん、私は今回初めてご一緒させていただくんですけれども、坂口さんはこれインをして私も知ったんですが、実はかなりのゲーマーです。ファイナルファンタジーもがっつりと、昔からやり込んでいる。オンラインゲームも、過去にやっていたということで、ゲームリテラシーが非常に高くてですね、脚本の理解度も
don't hurt yourself, hands.
していただいて、主人公秋夫に
Quietly step away from your face with your
入っていただ
fingers.
けて、ものすごく、現場がスムーズに
Like I said, good for Japan.
そして、
yeah, the movie
さ
comes
らに
out.
さらに意外
I'll
な
check
こ
it
と
out.
は
I'll check out the series,
吉
Gina.
田鋼
sometime
太郎
after
さん
Easter.
もまあまあにゲーマーだったという。ファイナルファンタジーも
I'm
吉
sorry
田さん
for
も
you,
やっていたと
Kim.
いう。
Last time was so hard on us
グランツーリ
because
ス
it
モ
was
とかも
that was the time we were
結構
going
や
to
り込ん
prepare.
で
It's
る
like 2 in the morning.
意外な
Galahad,
一
welcome
面
to
もあ
the
りまして、
workforce.
Welcome to the workforce.
まさかの2人ともゲーマーというそんな2人が主演を務めていただきます。
I hope it's something like it's like we did a new sound effect for like if anybody like did like a super chat or like a pitch or something like that. So I was wondering if it was going to do that tonight. Hopefully the volume isn't too loud. But no pressure. I'm just looking forward to that. We haven't had this many people on the stream, and I think it'd be kind of funny. I please hope there's more than this. I really, as an NA player, I'm being selfish. Being completely
so actually, we have a couple questions that are going to come from Yoshi P to both of the actors.
Yeah, I bet it was
my last
great
name
for
is
you.
Yoshida.
Here in Texas, I was like, all right, I was so nervous.
Can I call you by your first name?
I went to sleep and then I got up and then we did that out of coverage.
I don't know.
That was a hard weekend. Chris was out of town that weekend. This weekend, he had it already scheduled before they announced the date.
Famous actor calling by his first name.
Like, dig on you, Chris.
So, when the offer for when this
working
movie came,
YouTube weekend.
I mean, you already had the series, and so when creating this character, what type of things did you think about when creating this character's? So, like I said before,
I mean, I love the announcements, JD,
and
I think it actually shows
Fantasy games in the series.
A lot of interesting ideas, and I can't wait to see how they play out. So, like, range DPS makes sense. It was missing.
Anybody know about that? No one knew about that.
The
It just
female
happened.
and the male. I'm going to just say
when the director said, "So do you know games?" Like, oh,
that's
yeah,
exactly
I do.
what
And
I
that was
wanted.
the first time I actually realized that.
I don't even know if we're at the start.
They didn't know before.
They've just been talking about different stuff. Like, there has been. They said that we were going to cover it at New Game Plus, and we have not even mentioned it yet. That's what I'm curious about. That's actually the greatest nervousness thing that I have going into it from their list of main features.
So yeah, when creating this kind of character, you have to be two different characters. You're not only Akio the Sun, but you're also Mairi in games. So, and having those crossover and synchronize and become one character, even if they're separate.
Focus listening. Yeah, I'm just calling him Ronso Gray. Like, Hrothgar. Like, it's going to kill it. I'm going to be like, I'm from the first, yo. I will scream it into the mic hands. Wake up!
So it's basically, he didn't have to actually memorize a lot of lines because the main character, the father, doesn't speak a lot. At least on screen, he's very silent.
Right.
And so he didn't have to learn a lot of lines. But getting the opportunity to ad-lib in a natural way and learning.
I don't know why, Sean. Do you log in? Does your IP address
So usually I do
change
that. I ad-lib to bring up,
because
again, the father doesn't speak a lot, I can't do a lot
your
of
ISP keeps
It's
changing.
like
Basically,
things you need to say them in as few words as possible. So it's
a security
difficult.
A man of few words.
Thundercats.
Yeah, I mean, if you look back at the blog, it's just about how the dad just says nothing.
To start, you never know what they'll do later.
This is just,
that's the thing that I love about Shadowbringers is like
rigid face expression.
We have no idea. Just because it changes up the formula, they literally are changing up the
getting
formula
into character, is there anything
to varying
special
degrees.
that you
Like,
do
okay,
to get
they've done this, they've done this. Wait, it's different, which can be scary, but it's also, for me, I'm looking at it from being an excited perspective.
I mean, the biggest thing was just playing Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's this person who plays games is a person I get to play.
See Legion and Star hanging out in the green
So
room.
I play games
We'll
to
see what
become
happens.
more
if
like that
this
character.
ends up wrapping
who
it
plays
up, then
games.
we're just going to do call-in show.
And then
make
the
our
other thing
own
is about
interesting
that
announcements.
relationship with the father. So
actually, I'm a fan of the trust
not a lot
system.
of opportunity.
It embraces what Final Fantasy XIV is. It's a single-player game. It's also an MMO.
Together. But
I
actually,
think
because
we'll hopefully see that trust system roll into
not as
the
much
other
communication.
dungeons.
That actually worked out.
That works really well.
I think it makes sense. I want to see it in the open world, and I want to see it, the Chocobo and the Squadron and all of those bring in, get together and figure it out, because like we don't need 3 systems for all this stuff.
So you mentioned before that there's not a lot of lines, so it's hard to create a character without a lot of lines. You have to create it with like the actions. So what kind of things you do, like maybe eye contact.
I think I might be overreacting just a bit, Ezra.
To create that character,
a
character with so few lines.
Ideas. Seems people are stressed over smaller details such as a race.
And so, I mean, there's that connection there, but also the lack of a connection is also part of it. That's part of it as well. So,
Unless you're calling me Ezra, but either way. Well, it's
And
if you guys haven't seen my the video talking about the community feedback
from the series,
acceptance
and
curve,
his spirit is there.
it's
behind
like
always.
more naturally.
And so
if get the information, they might not fully understand
if I
it.
need help, I look
and eventually
to that role, and I look
they'll
to
get
him
angry,
and his spirit,
and then eventually they'll work mentally to acceptance. It's pretty, it's been happening since 1.0.
So the other day, I was actually got to go to
it can happen to
the
all
filming.
Shout out, Shamrock.
It was really exciting, and we said here that they're filming today, and you probably think that we're just saying that. No, it's actually after this is over, they're going to go continue filming. So.
They're just talking about the movie, Fran. They're about filming it. Luga, welcome to the workforce. Enter that follow button over on Twitch.
So there are a lot of scenes that we take in the house. So from about
that's what I was actually
8 o'clock
saying
in the
in
morning
community
till about 11
feedback.
o'clock at night.
When they say it's a lore reason, they could rewrite the lore. They could do anything they want with the lore and make it work.
And then Akio's room.
It's just a matter of what if
we've been there for about 10 hours a day.
Actions by undoing everything, like if that's the ultimate
pretty much
goal
we're
of
trapped in this room. They lock the doors.
Unwrite or undo the sundering.
And so
usually it's like, hey, check it out. Our actions brought about that change, right? It has a kind of an impact. I think that would be felt bigger than if they just were like, here's everything you want.
And the people that we're working with,
they could. I mean, there's probably the development time reason and other reasons. So from a lore perspective, they could link it in so that just like we were with 1.0 and we had everything kind of collapse.
I'm really blessed to work with a lot of
6.0
really nice people. So even though we're trapped in that
brought about
working
this
with
edition in the game, and it actually I think is more meaningful in the long run. But yeah, like if you want it, you should voice it. Like that's the whole point.
So like, there's a lot of times where I'm just the only people in the room is me and the screen, and I'm acting with to the screen. Yeah. So there's like times where I'm playing like Twintania, Titan, and there's people in the staff members who are also Warriors of Light that have played these as well. And so I asked them, it's like, how should I be playing this part? What should I be doing?
Take a break, Simon, they're announcing a movie.
And so, like, I'm wondering, like, what should I say here?
Is a movie,
and the players and the staff, they're like, okay,
the game.
this is what
Twister's coming.
This attack's coming, and they tell you the things like, okay, this is the things I have to do. Like, here, I have to run this way, and here I have to do this. And so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but why have 3 systems?
So
why
the game has a lot of special terminology. That's Final Fantasy XIV terminology. It's like
weird.
It's a whole new language.
Yeah. So that's like the summary of this video. I'm debating if I even need to make it, because it's gonna be like they got together, they told us a lot of stuff we knew, and actually they told us not a lot of stuff that we already knew pretty much.
So, and then they talking about, like, again, it's hard to imagine him being a gamer, but you think about it, he was young when the Famicom came out, and so like he is part of that gamer generation. So he's been playing with all of those games.
So basically, the
Final
parts in which
Fantasy
you were created by playing with other people, you can play with NPCs.
I played 14. I played 15 as well. I played the 15 online multiplayer.
Bachelor party. I'm jealous of him right now. This is what it is.
Saying, that multiplayer.
I don't agree with that.
He's playing that right now. It's like normally he says that when he plays that and he's talking to other people, no one knows what he's talking about. But now he's happy because everyone here knows he's talking. But to download that patch, it took like two hours. It's like download times.
I don't know if it's going to have a positive or negative impact on queue times. I think what would have a positive impact on queue times is making XP worth something.
It's really
hit level cap.
Exciting to hear how
the fact that whenever I
from us,
don't need
the games
XP
that we created have brought people together, people that
all this different content. It's silly, and Eureka could have actually been the answer for that, where if you ran like a roulette or 11 roulette.
One of the things about this movie that's unique is that we have these live action parts as well as the in-game stuff. And so what's difficult about doing?
We don't need we don't actually need a fourth viewer. You know, the question is about gameplay, how it plays.
The live action
is the ability and a
act
reason
like
for
this.
people
In the
to keep
game,
playing
you act like this,
and enjoying
you change
the jobs they're on.
the way you
Once
act,
hit level cap
the words that you use.
Well, like, why do I not tank? Why are there not people tanking? Because
And that's
there's no reason
what's really
to
interesting
in a
about
level
this
like
game.
that.
Things that you
5
can't say.
tones is what it is.
In real life, you can say.
And
in the game.
that reward system, they've always kind of played with it, and it just there's no right adjustment because everybody's going to value it differently. But if for some reason
so I can play. It's like playing two roles.
Get some kind
you
of
can play one, and then when you're in game playing as
glamour level,
a completely different character.
That'd be a value, I think. Yeah, they could. The merit point system, if they brought it into 14, it literally couldn't impact your power. They could have like a certain mode or certain content that would work. But if you were coming into
real
the
life,
raid scene,
the father
let's say in,
doesn't say anything. It's very silent,
and you
but then
had
you
to
get
go grind out 1,000 merit points
and
just to do the content.
Communicating
That's
in ways that he
breaks
wouldn't
one of the principal
in
people
real life.
the HTTP is set up. However, you could make that. You could use merit points for glamour, for all kinds of silly little things, like reducing teleport costs to a specific zone.
And it's about
just
where Akio and Mighty are linked.
And use them
kind
however you want.
of. It's you have the father.
There's a lot of
and
different
then
ways they
the
could solve
character
it.
in game here
I'm
and in
hoping
game.
that
They feel
they
so
do.
different
I
that
think Shadowbringers
it's
has the
like, is
opportunity
this
to do that.
is this really my father? Is he really saying these things? He would never say these things outside. And so the cool part about the movie is that you can see those character arcs and how the characters change.
It's
from the beginning
Eureka's
through
issue
their
is a
interactions
technical thing. Bruce Willis and Justin Bieber. Yeah, gardens, flower pots, stuff like that. That would actually, I think, solve some.
All right, and so they actually have to get back to filming today, so we're going to end the stage right around here. What? Oh, yeah, they're going to have the photo session.
Oh, nice.
They have a bunch of media down in front. They're going to allow them to take pictures, get the board. Dad of Light, June 21st.
You play it for a different
That's really cool. That's like 3 months.
And if they don't have a good idea for what that experience is, it felt like early access. It just felt like White Mage, or felt like Scholar, or felt like Astrologia.
So yeah, there's no excuse. You can't say, oh, I'm busy with Shadowbringers, so I can't go see it. It's like, no, right here.
Still have some time.
I hope we learned something about New Game Plus.
That's pretty cool.
It's 9:25 right now.
This is like a really.
They've been doing this for.
I've been in
minutes.
Japan for 24 years.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've ever seen it. You see this on TV all the time.
Yeah.
But this is really cool.
The audience is.
It's just
very
like
enthralled.
on TV. Everyone's just like quiet and watching. Like people have just been, for the past 30 minutes, not moving around, just kind of looking.
That's crazy. There's so much media.
All those cameras.
It's crazy that
I like how they're riffing.
you make
on
a
this.
video game and then like it led to this.
I know.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, Antonio, I'm here in DFW, North Texas.
So many people taking pictures are like each going.
Yeah, I think Tess, that's a great
Left,
idea. I think I don't tie it to like
here.
a quest. Like tie it to. I think like imagine if you got like a treasure chest every time you hit an artificial glam level, after 70, and you
That's
open it
interesting to
and
see
maybe
this.
it contains a mount. I don't know. Like I think that would be fun and exciting, and then you can put in other kind of fun things that could be, thus driving you into that loop. Obviously, I
started
like the
from
predictable
FF14,
sense of it, so that
and
can
then
also
blog.
help as
Yeah,
well. Where
and
you
he
have
was just a
but what
regular
happens when you
guy
get that
playing
mount?
14,
Telling a
on his
story.
Once you
blog,
get
and I
the
mean,
mount,
he had a
it's an
story. I mean, it's all true.
unpredictable thing.
Yeah.
Talking about his father and his
Yeah.
relationship with his father,
Whatever.
and how 14 affected
Like, what do you do then?
his life,
Like,
and
there's nothing.
and
And
was
so they need to have
and
something
open
that
things
is,
up like that, and
in a way,
and then just
eternal. Like,
players would read it,
how many
and
levels
it got people
extra
excited, and then they started writing about themselves, and
do
it all led to
gain
a
that
series
don't
and
have
now
any
a
impact
movie.
on your stats. but
What's
just
next?
Kind of for your,
After
like
the
a
movie?
glamour
I
level.
don't know.
Do you gain
Dad of
in
Light
one,
real escape
one
game.
expansion's worth of
Escape from that room.
Hey, you've gained 300 or 600 levels of experience. Like, oh, cool, that's awesome. Oh, they dropped something.
They're waving. I'd like to think that he's waving at me.
Yeah. That's exactly what they're doing.
Kotaro Sakaguchi's like, oh, Koji.
Is that Koji back there?
Koji and Matt, hey.
Wow. I don't think that's the reality, but
hey, that's what I'm going to tell my kids when I'm old.
はい、OK です。ありがとうございました。それではスタッフの皆さん、ボードの回収をお願いいたします。
was a pretty exciting announcement for PLL 50.
I'll be right back, guys. Hopefully nothing cool is announced. Yeah. My guess is nothing.
How are they going to top this in 51?
Yeah, I don't know.
ファイナルファンタジー14というゲームが本当に面白いので、だからその面白さをどう映像で映画で伝えていくかっていうところと、小太郎さん、アキラお父さんと。
It's all about, you know, showing through the movie how great a game 14 is, and you know, hopefully watching this movie will let a lot of people know that 14 is a really fun and exciting game, you know, through that story. I mean, everybody here, you know, and people watching, they're all like, they're 14 professionals, and so I have a lot of pressure to, you know, do well as well. So please support. He has guaranteed that it'll be a great movie. So
it's his personal guarantee.
It's personal guarantee. And yes, because he said so. Ah, okay, so just yesterday they filmed some scenes about when Akio was young and when Akio was older. And so when I saw that, you know, the scenes where he goes from younger to older, and I watched them, the kind of complete scene of that, I started tearing up myself. And so, yeah, if someone who's acting in the movie is going to be crying at it, I guarantee that all of you will be crying as well. And then Yoshi.
Of course.
I mean, a lot of stuff happens with Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah.
It's not just the game. I mean, again, it's we would never imagine that a blog about this game made it all the way into a full-length feature film. To be standing here on the stage, surrounded by, you know, thousands of fans with these two great actors, and that in 3 months this movie will come out. It's just, it's amazing. We're going to work hard to make sure that it is, you know, the best. I'm going to go see it myself. I want you guys to go to the theater and watch it as well. And not watch it just once. Watch it at least twice or 3 times. And each time you watch it, you'll probably find new stuff. It is, there's a lot of cool stuff in the movie, so please look forward to it. All right, and that's the end of the media event. Thank you very much. Yeah, 1 week before early access.
Before early access.
Yeah. Watch it once, twice, thrice. Enough time to watch it multiple times before early access begins. Yeah, 50 letters from the producer live.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And then
doesn't even count like the E3 ones, and
it was pretty cool to see those two actors who, you know, both knew what they were talking about when it came to at least Final Fantasy XIV, fighting Twintania. right, so I'm going to wrap up this letter from Producer Live now.
今締めでも一言ご挨拶した時にお話したんですけど、ファイナルファンタジー14本当にいろんなことが起きるタイトルだなと思います。で、僕プロデューサーで肩書きをやってるので、まあいろいろ吉田仕込むなって思うのかもしれないですけど、ほぼ偶然です。
So yeah, you think maybe things like this movie, it's like it's all like me that I'm going out and looking for these opportunities. It's actually not. This is all like chance that these things happen and are like drawn to this, to this project. Things that's just how powerful this project is. That it becomes the origin of all of these exciting things that you couldn't even imagine.
It's really cool. Yeah.
やれる限りですね、濃いゲーム内容の時もあれば、こうしたお祝い事の発表だったり、まあいろんなことをまたこのプロデューサーレターライブやっていきたいと思いますので、どうぞ。
Yeah, this is the 50th, but hopefully we can continue having a lot more. We've got a lot of heavy announcements as well as light announcements like this. It's really it's a great project, and hopefully this won't be it's our 50th, and hopefully it won't be our last.
もしかしたらちょっとずれるかもしれませんので、その際随時お知らせいたします。それから Twitch でご覧の皆様、この後一瞬放送を途切れます。途切れた後すぐ再開されますので、慌てず騒がず。
Okay, yeah, they're just talking about how the Twitch stream is going to go off for just a second and then restart it. So don't worry, we're not breaking down. This is planned.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back
for the dev panel coming soon.
That's right.
Have just a little bit of time.
Is that it? I guess that's it. Did I miss anything special? Did I miss anything? Let's go ahead and jump into this. Boom. We'll turn on media source. Boom. Drag that down. All right, let me catch up on chat here. Media source like too low. Oh, that's the. Cool. Yeah. Let's see here. Nothing with it. Didn't miss anything. Did they not? So they didn't. They're restarting the stream. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's.
How many years
Are they restarting the stream?
Since that day?
They'll be restarting. It was planned. Okay. Not counting the movie. Didn't tease a thing. Twitch gone haywire. Okay, let's go and do that then. Nope, I don't want the PlayStation Plus. Got this ad. Yes, a couple minutes of the dev panel. Dev stream is next. Like, is that when they're doing the new game plus? The like. What the hell? All right, I'm gonna drag in. Let's see here. That was just annoying. I'm gonna go ahead and unmute this. I'm gonna drag Star. Hey Star, how's it going, dude? Welcome to the call-in section. I don't know what just happened. I have to look at So what's your takeaway, man?
Oh, well, I was with the other guys in the green room, watching it, and we were really confused.
That felt so weird for a live letter. I'm getting some feedback just FYI.
Oh, sorry, one sec. I'll change the thing.
Okay, I'm looking at the updated announcement. I swore yesterday they said this. Okay, so that's the day 1 main stage, blah, blah, blah. Day 2 main stage, letter from the producer live. So that's done. 8 to 9:30. Dev panel in 15 minutes. So I guess we'll go ahead and hang out for that. Join members of the development team as they take a behind-the-scenes showcase the work goes on in creating 14. Also featuring English commentary. Okay, we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot.
What did you think?
There was nothing, Nico. That was oh my gosh. Like let's for Japanese players, I think you know, like the movie and all that stuff. That seems like a big deal. But holy crap. The dev panel.
Ryan,
yeah.
For the 50th live letter, it just felt lackluster.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was expecting a bit more. You know, what's gonna go? Wait,
yeah, like,
I was expecting a bit more. What's gonna happen in the next patch and all that stuff like that. Like,
I wasn't expecting battle stuff. I wasn't like, no, a lot of people are like, oh, maybe they'll do like, it's like, no, we'll get the battle stuff in May, with like, and they'll spend a lot, and they kind of talked about that. So the question was asked, how long is this? So 7:45 to 9:15. So that's another hour and a half. So they're saying that here, that's gonna be another hour and a half. Let's keep hanging out. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna keep you in here. I'm gonna bring in Legion. And Legion, are you server, you are server muted, buddy? Let's go ahead and say here.
I'm sure you are. We're meaning, we're talking, we're watching it.
I'll give you a couple roles here. Legion, live chat approved. There you go. You should be able to speak, hopefully.
I hope so.
There he is. What's your takeaway, man? Like, I feel like I just feel like winded and hungry and bored from that.
Well, I mean,
I knew you weren't the only one.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Legion.
Oh god. I would have liked to have had like a whiskey or something with that.
Dude, this would have been perfect to have a whiskey with. It's like, this would have been ultimate perfection. Like, hey guys, come and enjoy the 50th live letter, and be sure to bring some form of impairment. Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, I feel like I need to be impaired at this point, simply because of the fact that like I came here for, you know, information from like the live thing.
Yeah.
But like,
what were you hoping for?
It just seems I wanted to know more about like the world visit system and obviously New Game Plus.
Yeah.
And we went from New Game Plus to like Yoshi talking about how he eats ramen, and I'm just like,
they didn't really touch on New Game Plus though. Did I miss it?
I don't even remember, honestly.
Right,
like there was so much.
They didn't talk about it.
They didn't talk about it. They didn't talk about it.
No, it was just questions, wasn't it? At
they were
first,
asked
and then
about the story and the lore and how they develop and all that stuff. Some of it was interesting, like some of it was, but then they're like asking like, what are the characters' birthdays so I can celebrate them. It's like
right. It's like, you would think they'd have. My bad.
No, you're good.
You would think they would have like more of a structure as to how they would go about this stuff. Like, I mean, to me, it just seems like they were more so scatterbraining the entirety of it. And then we had the whole thing with the movie and whatnot. Like that's good for, you know, the Japanese players and everything.
I'm not going to diss that for them, you know, and especially because Jill is definitely praising it, and I definitely need to go give it the time to watch and see if I'm excited about it, you know. So I think that's going to be interesting and cool, and we'll have to see how that kind of plays out in the long run of it all. But oh my gosh, I'm gonna bring in Riku. Just remember, guys, if you're upset, please make sure you don't swear. Riku, welcome back, man. So what's your takeaway? What were you hoping for? I was hoping for something completely different than that.
I was hoping for a lot more info on Dancer and the world travel system and, you know, some other stuff, some juicy details. All we got was the PR for a movie.
it was more.
Go ahead, Star.
The Q&A really confused me though, because the questions were not really like stuff that really needed to be asked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know,
it also could have been a separate panel.
I thought, yeah, it felt like a little out of place, especially for FanFest, because they've done lore panels, they've done those kind of things, and it was kind of all brought together. And then they got up and built up this announcement, and it's like, and they took so long on it that I was started to get excited, and then it's like, the last moment, I pumped the brakes and was like,
me and I was listening to when I was getting a bit excited too. I think Legion heard me, but like my disappointment just like hit rock bottom as soon as he said, "What a movie? Is that it?"
I don't. Yeah, I'm obviously watching this from like kind of an American perspective, but it's like because it's like, okay, what could it be? Like, what are they doing? Why is this such a big deal? And that's me not necessarily understanding the culture. So that's not on them, right? That's on me for not like. Now, if they ever do that again, it's gonna be like, oh my gosh, guys, they're announcing another movie. But yeah, I was like, and then they had the. So, any of you guys play Dissidia?
Me and Wolf talked about it.
I played it like for maybe a day and then returned it to GameStop.
Okay.
I played it.
What do you think, Wolf?
I mean,
otherwise he was really short on cash.
I did like the game, but it was I preferred the older Dissidias because there's some missing. It is quite a bare bones game compared to the PSP one.
Okay. I'm gonna bring in Stella. Go ahead.
But Xenos, though, that's a good character to add, though.
Hey, hello.
Hey, what's going on, Krista? Hey. What's your takeaway? Like, was that? Did you watch the stream? Did you like? Were you expecting something?
I did. I was expecting something a little bit more. Yes, I watched the English of it, but I was expecting a lot more.
What were you wanting? What were you wanting? Because I felt like if they can redeem themselves in the development panel, that's great. But I'm tired. I'm hungry, and it's like now I'm sitting here going, well, what I need to do, what the responsible adult in me should do, is just go to bed, right? And so, and of course, it's like, oh, I go to sleep. Then it's like, did you guys see it? But like, I'm gonna let you talk, and I'm gonna get to the thing. I'm gonna read everybody what they're saying this will be, so maybe we can set expectations. Go ahead, Chris. So what were you wanting?
What was I hoping? A little bit more 5.0 stuff, but you know, I mean, what they gave us, I mean, we already expected. I mean, we knew that we were getting the changes in the, you know, the last of the story, and it's just like, okay, you're telling us something that we already knew. Give us something different or something more, or you know, a little bit more on 5.0. I mean, not to spoil it, but you know, just a little bit more. Maybe a dungeon.
Yeah, anything. I mean, in the past, like they've kind of like, even if it was like, oh, Yoshi P's like got this piece of paper, and what's on that piece of paper? Like those are always exciting. We didn't see any of that.
No, we didn't. I mean, it was kind of a little disappointing for being the Japanese fan fest. You know, of all the other Japanese fan fests that they've had so much, and it's just like,
yeah, I agree.
Where's the rest of it?
I went ahead and brought in Yami as well. So we've got Star, Yami, Riku, Legion, and Krista all hanging out right now in our on-air chat. Welcome, Yami. So they're saying this is going to start now. Like this is the scheduled time for this to start. So hopefully the panel isn't late. What they say this is supposed to be is join members of the development team as they take you behind the scenes to showcase the work that goes into creating Final Fantasy XIV. So, I don't know if we're getting 5.0 stuff. I don't know if this is going to be the New Game Plus details. Maybe it was a misunderstanding in the translation that that's going to come later.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope it is.
Yeah.
Well, it has to. New Game Plus is the most concerning thing for me. Not in a bad way. I just look at it and go, I don't understand this. I'm interested. I want to know more, because honestly, like, one of the things that really frustrates me is that without level sync, I feel like players are being forced into a path to either purchase the jump potion or to play the game kind of like, you know, by themselves for a long period of time before catching up to everybody. And like, I'm hoping maybe New Game Plus ends up being that kind of, you know, that kind of level, you know, that extra detail that, you know, bringing it all together.
You know, that I will give you from my standpoint. I kind of agree with you on that. The plus thing would really help out, because I'm an FC leader, so I get new people in all the time.
Yeah.
And as an FC leader, you say, okay, I want to help you out, but here I have to, you know, I can't because I'm at level 70.
Right.
And you're level.
Well,
two,
yeah, and you don't want to
you know.
siphon their XP, and so you have to get to the fate.
Right.
You can do fates together, and then you can do, but then there's no real like reward, and the incentive is always key. It just kind of feels like, I don't know, like that's the only, and so I was like, man, maybe New Game Plus will end up being a way that, like, hey, yeah, let's go and do that. And
Yeah.
my concern is like, what does that mean for the main story? Imagine if I New Game Plus it, but I don't get caught up by the time the patch drops, and you know, I'm sure there's gonna be players that's not gonna affect. I have so many questions I've had since Vegas. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I'm with you on that one. The other thing I also wish that they would do is like upgrade the FCs a little bit. You know, free companies, you know, our chests are, you only have 3 slots, and we should have like 4. And
I'd kill for
you know, a store. You know, our own. You know, FC has their own store. I'd go for that one too, or you know, more.
Did you get to the bathroom?
Like you're at 8, but 8 gives you so much. But could we get something added plus the 8? You know.
Why not give it an infinity levels? Just allow you to level up. It doesn't need to do anything more than, I don't know, just shower you with some fun little prizes. Anybody else here want to say anything before? Because they got 1 minute till the show.
Let me interject really quick.
Yeah,
actually, let Riku go because he's been.
Okay, Riku, I apologize. Go ahead.
My whole complaint is, like, we have 2 new classes. They didn't show any of them. It's the 50th live letter. Do you think they would have had something big planned for the Big 5-0? Since, you know, they kind of said it's a turning point in life. So I would think they would have had more, unless they're doing it next. But I don't have the hope that they're going to.
I think the dev panel is gonna not live up to expectation or hype. All right, it's starting. We'll,
sorry.
No, you guys are good. Thanks for coming and hanging out in the and joining me for the kind of call-in. Let's see what happens here, and maybe they'll give us something to talk about. And if it starts off slow, I'm gonna go make a snack. So I'm gonna drop you guys down.
So our MC for this panel
will be the community team, Mochi. You may have seen him. He's been on tons of stuff, 14-hour broadcasts. He often hosts stuff for the Japanese fan festivals.
Right. Most of the Japanese events, when Foxconn is not
on stage,
it's him. He's
Mochi.
all this stuff.
It's kind of our counterpart in Japan here.
Right. Alright, so let's first bring out
the producer and director.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not a big thing.
We haven't seen him in, it's been, what, like 8 minutes?
Almost. He took off the jacket at least. And here we have our 2
and the scarf is back.
2 guests.
team members.
Yep. Let's wait for them all to introduce themselves.
That sounds good.
It's like a
yeah, this is in
rough,
line. This is
rough group of guys. They walk on stage.
That's right, and if you didn't know, it is producer, director, not actor.
Oh, not yet.
Yoshida NQ?
Normal quality. He's not the HQ version.
But he's got that nice that wrap around his neck. It's pretty nice.
Oh.
Alright, so we have 90 minutes for this panel as well. We're going to split it into the first half and the second half.
Yep.
Hopefully the first half won't be 12 minutes like the last time. Alright, so we're going to talk a little bit about what is a background. Both of them are background artists, but what does a background artist do? So we have Takanashi-san, Yoshiki Takanashi. And so, you know, we always just say BG.
Yeah,
BG team. They're just the BG.
It's a lot easier.
And so it's basically creating those backgrounds that you see in the end. So that's a pretty simple explanation.
Straightforward.
Yeah, we just make the background.
Easy.
Yeah, BG. So there's probably a lot of things that entail. So what do you do personally? So like creating the towns, event maps,
The high-end alliance raids.
Oh, okay.
Alliance raids and high-end raids. And then like all the little objects, the little tiny objects that you see. It's pretty much, I do a jack of all trades. I do a lot of stuff. I have a lot of different jobs.
Sounds like a lot of people in the 14 team.
And then here we have Shida-san. And Shida-san works on environmental things like environmental lighting. And then the brush up of the stuff in the background. Also textures and things like that. So it's completely different. Even though they're both background artists, they do completely
very different things.
So Takana-san takes all those polygons and creates the world, whereas Shida-san takes things like creates that environment. He takes those things that are created by Takana-san and then puts it in the environment, lighting, clouds, sky. So we have two completely different jobs today we're going to explore.
Interesting. It's like 2 panels in one.
そういうことなんですね。はい。で、普段はパソコンに向かって淡々と仕事をしている時なんですけども、はい。稀にイレギュラーな
So most of the time, I just sit in front of my screen at my workstation and type away, program away. But I do get to do some cool things.
Nice.
And I got to take a business trip to Saudi Arabia recently. And so that was about meeting with game creators in Saudi Arabia and giving a talk to them.
Hey,
you can see I'm there too. I was there.
ご存知の通り、石油産出国が多くですね、いわゆる一般的にオイルマネーというものが
So, a lot of these countries in the Middle East, their economy is based on like oil. But they're trying to, expand. And they're putting a lot of money into training, the people living there in other trades. And so they're putting money into that training. They decided to have a bunch of members from Square Enix to go. It was about a year ago, early 2018. 10 development team members were invited. And we'll pay all of your airplane, and we'll pay for your hotels. We'll pay for everything if you'll come over and talk to these game creators about your experiences and how you create games.
How you make games.
Meet with these people, the aspiring game creators in Saudi Arabia, and talk about the techniques and game design and things that we've done in the past to inspire them. And so this is a picture of one of the talks that we gave there.
Hey, man. Hello from Texas.
And that's Takana-san there. He's giving his presentation, talking about the event maps and how he creates event maps and the flow that's used in creating those. Got some more pictures. Here we go.
Oh, nice.
At least we didn't have a big Q&A that was like, okay.
So we have some of the aspiring game creators, they were showing us some of the games that they had made themselves, and we would play them and we would give advice and comments
feedback.
On what we saw, their feedback. Yeah. Here's a guy that had created a game on their mobile phone, and we played together. And this was at a university.
Oh, okay.
We went to a university, and we, not talking specifically about 14, but about game design in general. Several hundred attendees there. There were a lot of people wanted to go, but they chose 100. And when we went there, we found out that it's like, even of those people, it's 80% of them were Warriors of Light players in 14.
Nice.
It was supposed to be people that were aspiring game creators. It ended up being Warriors of Light. So.
Everywhere you go.
So I'm thinking I'm talking about game design. It's like, maybe I should have been talking about 14 instead.
I like game design discussions. I study game design. I guess you'd say we all are studying game design.
So we were in the capital city of Riyadh, and this is nearby Riyadh, and we went out there on a bus to check it out. So, Saudi Arabia, until recently, there weren't any visitor visas. You could only get a visa into Saudi Arabia if you had permission. And so we wanted to check out these places, and they promised us like we'll let you go to these places that are usually forbidden to visit by visitors. Please go. So we got to go to a lot of places that a lot of visitors to Saudi Arabia have never seen before. So we went to this place, and we actually climbed up on top of that, and that's a picture from the top of that. So yeah, when we were driving up here, it was just like nothing but potholes. We almost fell off the side of the cliff. We thought we were going to die. We were all in the bus. We were like, we're going to die. We're going to die.
If you like Dead of Light, I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to knock it. But from a game perspective, from a Shadowbringers
and then when we got to the top, this is what was there.
Nothing.
This is what awaited us. And that's Shida-san over there.
Yeah.
I took that picture.
Oh, nice.
From the other side of the cliff.
Wow. Can add photography to your list of credits.
And so you get close to him, and this is what he's doing. He's not taking a picture of the scenery. He's taking a picture of the ground. What is he doing? And basically, he's just taking a picture of the ground. And we got that picture. Yes.
There it is.
This is beautiful. So yeah, he's there. It's kind of like work. This is his work.
Yeah.
This is why he's there.
I'm sure for him it was
and he took
great
pictures of
opportunity.
sand.
Yeah.
And pictures of rocks. And another picture of the ground. Yes. This is a great place, by the way. I remember this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So yeah, we went to tons of different places all around, and while everybody else on the team we're just taking pictures of buildings and people, he's just like pointing down
the ground,
or taking a picture of the doors, doors and walls,
interesting
textures. That's right. Walls, doors, and the ground. That's all he does. I mean, you don't get the chance to do that very often.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, for him, I'm sure it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, he loves doing it. He loves taking pictures of environment. So we're going to talk a little bit about how some of that data, some of those pictures and that experience in Saudi Arabia, we're able to translate that into stuff into the game. We're going to show a little bit later. All right, so let us begin with the meat of our presentation. We're going to start with Yoshiki Takanashi and what he does. So normally, he worked, before he came to this job, he actually worked in architecture.
Like, if you understand what it is they're actually doing right now, it is actually really interesting how intricate and how intentional their thinking is behind everything, right?
He's worked on lots of titles in the past as well, not just Final Fantasy. We have like Last
Remnant, Third Birthday.
Third Birthday. Also known as Third Birthday.
Thank you for translating that. That
was tough. I spent at least an hour. So Parasite Eve, Third Birthday.
Yep.
Yeah. The PSP for those. And then Type 0, another PSP game. And then on to 14. So, and within Final Fantasy 14, he makes towns,
objects.
So we're going to take a look at some of those things.
Some of his work. Wow.
Right.
Oh, there's some objects there.
Ooh. Those objects are pumpkins. I've seen that somewhere before.
18th floor.
That's right, the 18th floor. Ralga's Reach, Kugane.
Savage, man. I don't abandon hope, but don't get him up either. It just started, and they're just talking about like kind of the process.
And so yeah, he works on like all of the toughest parts, like those towns. The event in the event maps. So it's like you have the area that you're fighting in, but then you have that one room where something big takes place.
Yeah.
It's those areas that he creates. So like pretty much the most difficult and most complex areas to create is stuff that Takanashi-san handles. All right, then we're going to take a look at Masato Shida, also background artist.
I like that art. That's really cute.
So 18 years ago, he entered Square Enix and worked on Final Fantasy 11, 12, and then 14.
Wow.
Joel, I'd recommend just going to bed if you can. I'll summarize anything that if they announce it for you.
So you talk about Return to Ivalice. He actually worked on a lot of that stuff. That was Reader on the Lighthouse. He was the one that worked on that in the original 12 and got the chance to work on it again in Final Fantasy 14. So he's only been working on Final Fantasy games his whole career.
Wow.
In the game industry.
You see three titles, but it's 18 years of experience.
Right.
11, 12, 14. Applesauce is good. Well, Xander's, that actually has been, I mean, that actually could be true.
And so, and since coming to 14, he's concentrated more on environmental type of work.
Brought us the joy.
So these are the type of things that he's worked on in the past in Final Fantasy 14. The Black Shroud.
Harder to replicate that initial
excitement.
Everyone's favorite royal
where it translates and where it's difficult with MMOs to translate or that change.
So like these textures
like
as well
music,
here,
like
the textures that you see here.
Like they might
so you see that last one at the bottom right. The
new stuff,
Tsukiyomi battle.
Yeah, we can have an appreciation for how it was.
The battlefield.
But maybe
that
there's like
moon
kind of the periods
that
could actually
back. That was all hand drawn by Shida-san.
You know, we kind of end up locking ourselves into maybe some
hand drawn.
That's amazing.
Range of style of the game.
Yeah, he's saying like, oh no, it's nothing, it's nothing.
Everyone's like,
To someone who's not a good artist, I mean, that's
pretty awesome.
It's not something we can do. So.
I remember that was a big point that people really liked that battle, that change.
2 p.m. in Australia.
Right. And so now we know that a little bit about our two presenters today. We're going to go into our first theme, creating a town. And that town in the background
looks very familiar.
It's like our new town. Yeah,
I wonder if
this was just announced yesterday.
Yeah.
The Crystarium.
Timeout.
So this is like, we're just going to, it's a continuation. You think of it as a continuation of the keynote address and the info on the Crystarium. Talk about how it's created.
To get better.
All right, so let's take a look at first the creation flow.
The overall flow.
And this flow that we have to go through when creating a town.
There's a lot of steps.
So everything starts out with that rough image creation.
Be better, guys.
So the BG art section first. They meet with Yoshipi, and they talk about just that rough image of what they're going to be creating.
Yeah, just get a rough idea.
And they get the information from Yoshipi, and then they make just a bunch of different art.
A lot of iterations, a lot of things to choose from. You can see how different they all look too.
Concept.
そこを絶対的防御場所として、それを取り囲むように街が形成されている。
So basically, the first thing that I told them was that the Crystarium is supposed to be this special town that is created around the Crystal Tower in the first. And it's supposed to be this last bastion against the encroaching, the threat. And I just gave them just a little bit of that, and then I told them, just go with that and create a bunch of, just free. You're free to create whatever you want. But we need it needs to be fantastical.
Right.
It needs to be, impactful. We have like the crystal towers. We have these images of crystal. These keywords, planting those seeds there, but then and then allowing the BG team to create a bunch of different art
on their own.
Maybe just direct you down to the link to go watch next Twitch.
So like people who saw yesterday the trailer know which one actually ended up getting chosen, but you have all these other ideas that this is what it could have been.
Oh my gosh!
And it was like you said, the left, the one at the top left, was the one that was decided on.
The general direction.
The general idea, like this is the one we're going to go with.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, we just have like this multi-layer.
Yeah, this is what's called the Crystarium.
With lots of crystalline domes.
They're showing a couple different concepts of what they were thinking.
That was another thing that I had mentioned, that I wanted it to have multiple layers. When we made Kugane, it's pretty flat. I mean, you have some ups and downs, but it's pretty much one level.
One level.
And we did that in Kugane, so we wanted to go something different. To have it. But then,
there's the second stage.
You think back to like Ishgard and how it is multi-layered, and even now I get lost in there. So we wanted it something that was multi-layered, but not something that was going to be complex for players to navigate.
Right.
So once that rough image is created and one is decided, then we go into that plan and order phase.
Adrenaline Rush TV, various exhibition matches. It's going on for 2 hours.
So at this point in time, the story is not decided, and even what type of town it's going to be, like the type of government or whatever. None of that is decided. So we have to learn about this, and so we, the scenario team starts giving us these orders, like, okay, we need these type of things, and we got this kind of information from the game creators, and the creators of the lore and the scenario. So now we know these things about the city.
Yeah, it's like we need this stuff. Here's the key things.
Okay. The purpose of the city is to provide shelter from the Sin Eaters.
Yeah, we have a lot of spoilers in this that appeared in the land part.
Good thing we covered those up.
That's a workshop.
And then here are some other requests from the scenario team. These are the things that we definitely need in the city. And that means we need this massive workshop.
So where all this stuff is created. So not
the
only
material. Final Fantasy 14 players all know material. It's not a material with an A, it's with an E. It means army things.
Yes, military goods.
Goods.
So they need a market, tavern, a landing area for flying mounts, place to gather before the gates of the Crystal Tower.
And we need that place. That's where the dancer was dancing in the.
Well, that's the most important part.
So you need a place for her to dance.
That was the key requirement.
In this content, I'm not going to be able to provide, I guess, at least any kind of interesting comment.
So yeah, that massive workshop is going to be it's a point. It tells a lot of the story, and it also is something that's going to be easy to use in like quests and things to expand on the story. So
right.
So if there is a video of this,
but yeah, once all of this is
decided, gather it and summarize it stuff for you guys tomorrow. I do appreciate all of you hanging out. Thank you for the 130 likes on this live stream. It was epic as always.
And then you see this last image we have the private quarters
better
for the player. This is
announced.
another thing the scenario team is like,
Work To Game.
we need
Brian. Thank you so much for being
private
awesome.
quarters for the player. This is very important. This is the scenario team acting. So that kind of gives you a hint. Like,